All right, guys, we're going to finish up the conversation talking about Hunter v. Candace. I think it's like not a debate, more like a conversation. And I think that it's good because really Hunter Biden here has been allowing to like speak his truth. And I think that Candace has been really gracious, in how she's been like letting him speak and actually she's changed her mind on something. So it's very, very interesting.
After I watched it, I think it sort of edited my opinion about that relationship between your dad, because I think since the laptop scandal, in my mind, it was I guess a bit cartoonish, where it was like, well, you can do whatever you want. Go ahead, smoke crack. We're just powerful. We'll cover it. We'll do it. Like that's the like whatever. We've had so much power. We've acquired so much power. And then when I sort of saw you really defending your dad over this George Clooney thing, I was like, okay, this is just a normal father-son relationship. Like
Yes.
people can't apply that for some reason when you're talking about a president or somebody that has access to power, but he just loves his dad. And this is the
Yes.
way any normal person would defend their dad. If they said something about your
Yeah.
father, if they said something about your son, like this is so normal that I think that's what
Yeah.
was a bit
Yeah.
arresting for me. I was like, this is very normal dynamic. He doesn't care if Jake Tapper's on his side. He doesn't care if George Clooney is on his side. That's his dad that you're talking about. And he's having a natural reaction that I would have if someone was talking about my dad, my grandparents, my sister, my cousin, even when they do something wrong, by the way. Like, it's like, okay, no, but like, that's my family member who did something
And your
wrong.
kids
And so
and
you
your
have no
husband.
right.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
will breathe fire on someone. And that's
The reality is, guys, Democrats are the normal people in this scenario. Like Republicans and MAGA are so toxic that and everyone knows this. You spend time in Dem places or queer communities, everyone talks about leaving a toxic MAGA family. And like it is a shared experience how toxic people can be to their own family members in MAGA. Like we all have this shared experience of what it is. And Joe Biden is a really good father to Hunter Biden and was there for him when he was in the grips of addiction and helped his son come out of it. I mean, it's a beautiful thing that as a father myself, like I hope I have the strength that Joe Biden had, in order to really help and not pile on one of my children if they were in a scenario like that, because it's so easy to kind of be instigate, like pile on and make it harder and make it worse. But really giving out your hand in order to help someone up from addiction, it's so necessary in those moments. And those are like the great fathers. And Democrats are just better father figures across the board. Let's just be real. Obama, Biden, these are all good father figures that aren't, cheating serial adulterers. Trump cheating on his wife with children. Help me make that sense. Like, how can that be okay? There just aren't. I can't say that, Ruben. Name a Republican in high regards that is a good father figure. I'm sorry, but it is. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like they are all toxic. Mitt Romney would be one. Yeah, Nico, that's a good one. Hold on, nothing is coming to mind. I know, Ruben. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's because like Republicans cosplay as good parents. It's performative for them. Like Republicans care about being a father figure and the fact that it's domineering, it's authoritarian, it's patriarchal, right? They aren't actually good parents. They don't actually care about being good parents. That is the problem, right? They enforce misogyny in their own marriages. Women are seen as second-class citizens, even inside their own home. A lot in Republican circles right now, the question is, should women have the right to vote? And you have a lot of traditional women now in these relationships saying, yeah, you know what? You know what? Maybe it would be better if I didn't have the right to vote. How could you, how would that be? How is that okay? But that isn't a good marriage. That isn't a good marriage if the wife is so subservient to the husband that she is willing to give up her right to vote. That isn't what makes a good marriage. What makes a good marriage is when both people are coming to a partnership in whole together for one another to build each other up that's bigger than the individuals. That is a truly an incredible relationship and marriage. But you don't see that. And that's what I'm saying in a lot of these Republican ideals aren't ever going to be that because they don't uphold feminism. They don't they create patriarchal societies where they're xenophobic against women, minorities, and that's going to spread with the relationships their children have with other people, right? And we see that. We see that with you know, Republicans coming, you know, one of their kids comes home with a person of color, and now they freak out. You can't date that person, you know. So it is it's so toxic. It is absolutely toxic, and that's the problem. Is that it's not isolated. The politics of the Republican Party aren't isolated to just politics. It's so culturally entwined now, and they're so toxic culturally that it seeps into generational trauma, and we see it. We see it everywhere.
Kind of, and you're right. And now it's getting dirtier. The games people are playing are dirtier, and it is about wanting you to feel unsafe. And I think that is something that is so new
Yeah.
when you have people posting your address, posting where you are, knowing that you have children. And
Yeah, that is wild.
yeah, I really do. And it is over perspective. Like for me, it was me changing my mind on Israel. And suddenly I'm getting the New York Post treatment, and I'm getting all of these people coming after me, and I'm going, this is my perspective.
Guys, I get probably 100 DMs a day from MAGA on Facebook. It is genuinely wild how unhinged these people are. Like in my DS, I have 7,000 followers. You know, like I'm nobody. You know, and for some reason they think that I am like this mega influencer guy, so they constantly come after me. And like there is so much toxicity from these people for me just saying the most like banal things online, you know, talking about science and politics and that kind of stuff. But and hey, in one aspect, it is kind of nice because they see me as a threat, right? They see me as a threat enough to lash out and try to make me stop it. So I feel like that I am genuinely on the right track, right? Like if they feel like I am such a threat, maybe I'm doing something right, you know. But it is the hatred and the slurs that come from them are so funny, and they always get their stuff automatically removed. There's one guy there is one guy that every single post I make, every single short, he comments within 2 minutes, and it's the most slur heavy thing that you ever see, so it automatically gets removed from Facebook. But like, why does he keep commenting? Like he just sees the Facebook notification on his phone, just gets really mad, gets so triggered, makes a comment, and then goes on with his day, you know. And I'm like, well, thanks for you know, thank you for boosting the algorithm. It helps me actually. Thanks for boosting the algorithm by commenting. But it's a little weird. He is very obsessed, Jasmine. He's very obsessed with me. It's very weird. It's very odd. Just stumbled across your YouTube channel a couple days ago, and I'm a fan. Greetings from Portugal. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being in YouTube chat, man. What would be a biologist slur? Oh man, I use like Denisovin. You know, a lot of things that like a biological term that they don't understand, to kind of like really accentuate the point that they don't get it. A tardigrade? How dare you, Nico? I will not have tardigrade slurred on this channel. No, exactly, Nico. Like, I feel like you can use like stuff like that. So tardigrade is a compliment. Exactly. Exactly. I love it. And a ladybug. I love your name too. It's great.
Perspective. You're welcome to try to debate me on why I feel the way I feel about, which is because I have two eyes, about what's happening in Gaza. But to do these tactics where you're trying to destroy people that feels very, very new to me.
Yeah, and that let's be not let's be honest. I hate that phrase. Okay, I got it from my perspective. Is this? I know where that started, and that started when Donald Trump from rally stages started.
Yes.
Where's Hunter?
Yes.
Or yell, "Where's Hunter?" Call.
Can we just be honest? Isn't it obvious, everyone? We can all know and see that the toxicity from our politics today is from Donald Trump. Like for the people that have been cognizant and that are like 30 plus, we just all recognize and see that like the toxicity from our politics nowadays is from Trump, right? We all can know that. You know, people that, you know, and you have some people now that are, you know, 18 to 25 where their entire adult life, or their, you know, if you're 18 now, think about it, they were since what, third grade, Donald Trump has been in the zeitgeist and you know where we are. So it's like, so it's kind of normalized for some people. I think that like Trump has been too normalized, to be honest with you. And then the other people, it's like, but so Trump is not seen as you know, bad thing, which is wild to me in that group. But then there's the other group that we kind of know, guys. We kind of know, you know. Trump turned politics into a WWE SmackDown. Sure, yeah, I can see that.
On response crowds, and then they printed T-shirts, and then they made hats, and then they made mugs. Where's Hunter? And then they showed up my door. I didn't have any security. I didn't have anybody. I can't afford that in my life, particularly at that time. And they literally showed up at my door with bullhorns and MAGA hats, and on the direct, and the way that they got there is the New York Post published on the front page on its cover an aerial view of my home with the address.
That's
and
wild.
then in the thing said, and you could, if you stand here at this, you know, on this part of the street, you can see, and there are floor to ceiling windows, and you know, and so they showed
unhinged.
up.
How is the New York Post allowed to dock someone like that? Securitron in YouTube chat, what's up, man? I hope you get as big as Kyle Kalinske one day. That would be awesome collab. Thank you, man. Yeah, I would love to go on shows like that as a science correspondent. You know what I mean? That's really my goal, is to be the science correspondent for our generation. So honestly, Securitron, the best thing that you could do is in the comments, tag me, go to your favorite creators, tag me in their posts. It actually means 10 times more from you as a viewer than it does for me if I just, you know, email them, because that's going to their spam 99 times out of 100. So it's really hard to get and reach out to people like that. But if enough of you, or if he sees your comment and then he likes my content, there you go. What's up, Cake? How's it going? Shame that Candace had a Hunter before the left space even considered it. Candace still sucks. Yeah, I mean, Hunter's been going on Channel 5. You know, he's been on the rounds trying to clear his name and trying to generate some income, because unlike the Trump family, who are profiting billions of dollars a year, the Biden family did not, and Hunter Biden is in massive amounts of debt right now. So he's trying to clear his name for sure.
Oh.
And Alyssa was, what, 6 months pregnant at the time? You know,
Jeez.
She got in the car because she was alone at the time, and sped off, and they followed her and they ran her off the road. You know, she panicked, and then, you know, she got and they did it again, and they surrounded her, and that's new, man.
That is new.
And like, similar to you, is it like, before I sat down, I heard where you live, what the level of security that you have or didn't have, and, you know, what your perimeter of your property is like. How the hell do I know that?
That's
And how is
crazy.
that even remotely safe? How? Because you have people who now you basically spoke your truth and they decided that you cannot exist. And so therefore, I don't know if it's going to happen, but for some reason, I think it's appropriate for me to say, tell you what Candace's address is,
Mm-hmm.
who lives there, and the level of security
Yeah,
she
Tim
has.
That's
Sewell doing that
unhinged.
was one of the most.
Oh,
It was
excuse
so
me.
obvious
By
when
the
he
way,
What, like, I, God, I hate to keep doing this, but I remember, I mean, one's in the chat, if you remember this, there was a white pages that was delivered every single year with everyone's phone number and address on it in your city. So you had a directory to find out people's address and phone number, and people were not this unhinged. Like, it's wild to me that and I know this because I was bullied, mercilessly during elementary school, and one of my bullies found my number through the white pages and they called my house. So it's not like a squatting or something, but it was definitely something where I was like, whoa, my bubble was popped. You know what I mean? Where I felt like my safety bubble was at my house and that was gone. And it was very, very, very disturbing to me at the time. But I still felt like, we were able to exist in a society.
was doing.
my dad said to me, "Is I have to stop saying the F word."
But it was no.
I love that
like,
Joe Biden
seriously,
said
that
that.
to me was like it's a declaration of war. Like, they know I homeschool my kids. They know, and he's describing the security apparatus, and he's doing it in this rant, trying to be impassioned about the fact that I don't support Israel or I don't support Eric, whatever his motivation was. There was zero reason that you would be describing the perimeter of my house outside of wanting someone to get harmed. And like, I first of all, like, I'm not like Tucker Carlson, and I say this to people all the time. That's why I get so worried, because when Tucker gets accosted in public, he just has this like total happy warrior demeanor. I will claw someone's eyes out for my kids. Like, I am not the property to try. We will shoot you. Like, I will shoot you and I will kill you and I will happily go to prison before you have one opportunity to even make me. I'm not even going to think about whether you're going to hurt my kids.
You sound exactly like
that's
Melissa.
And that's me. That's just me. And,
By the way,
I've said it over and over on my podcast. I will smile in my mugshot, okay? Because I did the right thing and I have no qualms about that. So when he did that, I was like, okay, this little beanie boy, little beanie boy, I see exactly what you're doing. The whole world sees what you're doing, and you are doing something because you want my children to get harmed. And then if something happens to them, you're going to go, well, I don't know how that happened, as I was describing the perimeter of her home and talking about what her security is, which was inaccurate.
By the way, Candace, but that's like, what are we even talking about? That's exactly why they do it. Is that even if the chance is this small, the reason that they do it is exactly
the amount of, and they're like talking about like specific thing, and even swatting now. Swatting has been so normalized. It happens constantly on Kick and Twitch. Like, it happens all the time. And it really blows my mind. It really blows my mind how poorly the police departments have been able to kind of like come with and understand what's happening. I don't get how they've not really seen this as something that's happened. It's just, and it's so pernicious. Like, I got 2 dogs. They are like super barkers, and they would definitely be barking and charging at they're not biters, but like they would probably lose their life, for sure. Like, they would in that scenario. So it's like, it is wild to me. She's not Tucker. It's this in the same way a tumor is not another tumor. I think that she's kind of just saying like their demeanor. You know what I mean? I think that they're definitely, they're both on their own kind of like outside of MAGA. They're angle shooting in, MAGA right now, trying to kind of stir up something. But I don't think that, I think that that's what she's kind of talking about there.
that is to make you really afraid, not for yourself, for your 4 kids, for your family, for the people that work around you. It's like, and by the way, I'll tell you, is that I have the same approach that I think Tucker has to it, which is, and I don't know, which is basically like, I can handle it. Like, I can diffuse a situation. I can do it. Melissa, People kill you.
Yeah, I'll kill you, and I'll ask questions later.
And she did exactly the same. And you know what really worries me?
Yo,
Is all of a sudden,
my wife's the same way, dude. There is, I don't want to go into it right now, but there's been some scenarios where she has been absolutely knives out. Yeah, it's gnarly. I love it. I appreciate it. I think it's like, it is what we're talking about probably is kind of like some male privilege thing. I think that there is some, Hunter, like in a scenario, I feel like I can handle my own, but then at the same time, maybe that is some naivete that comes with it, right? That then it gets out of hand to the point where you couldn't do anything. And I think that women see the threat more clearly early on so that they can stop it in its tracks, right? And that's I think the bigger aspect. The Poofster, great name. Just found you this week and I wish you so much growth. There is too much misinformation out there and the more people fighting back, the better. Cheers. The Poofster, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that comment.
we're all talking about violence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're talking about violence. Violence is defense, but now you're talking about the violence. And then they kind of like go, oh, you're gaslighting us. This is bullshit. You're fine. You're really rich and you this and that. You can take care of yourself. It's like bullshit. Did you see what just happened to my best friend?
Yeah. Look, I mean, we
Like,
just
what are you
watched
talking
Charlie
about?
get, and he had a
Yeah.
full security apparatus.
Yeah.
We still don't know what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
there's
is she
zero
gonna go
interest.
into it?
That's another.
Is she gonna go into? Is she gonna go into that? She's been going. Like, if you're not aware, Candace Owens has been going after Erica Kirk, and they are in like a blood war right now. It is gnarly. So that's she's like at her like looking down, just like shaking her head, being like, "That's a whole thing. I don't want to."
Thing that just completely for me was like done with Trump whatsoever. Like, I mean, there's just no way for someone who came from the inside and watched the work that Charlie did to get these people elected. Don Jr.
I am not conspiratorial. Okay, I actively fight. I actively fight to keep conspiracies out of my brain. Okay, and I genuinely am saying this as in like asking questions. But why? In what earth does the president of the United States have multiple attacks on his life and we don't even talk about it and there aren't active investigations into it? I don't understand that. I don't get how there are more investigations right now into sitting senators that made a bad video or to Trump and not like into the Pennsylvania investigations, into what happened with Kirk, what happened, like there, how are those not active investigations where the DOJ and the FBI are going after it and it's public, and like as opposed to all the other ways that the Trump administration is pushing down and going into all these different aspects of it, like how are they not publicly going after that? How is there not investigations into Butler, into the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Remember that? How is that not even a thing? How are they not going into that? I thought that they were under investigation. Paniac, I think that they were, in the fact that like there was something going into it, right? There was like some investigation starting, but like, has Trump brought it up a ton? Have they gone through and new evidence come out? Has there been people that are being investigated and interviewed and new evidence? Like, you would think that like relentlessly, dogmatically, they would be going through this stuff, and they just haven't. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Or exactly, the UFC thing, the plot at the UFC. At the White House. Yeah, Nico, like a great example. Like, what? Like, these things are just said and then they like, how is there not an active investigation? Like, Secret Service should be like investigated. How did they not have this stuff? Like, there should be people resigning at the Secret Service. There should be new people in there. There should be new approaches. Like, in good faith, guys, like in good faith, we shouldn't have this stuff happening to the president of the United States, right? But like, How are we not investigating it? I don't know. Exactly, Justice. He's more worried about the reflecting pool. Exactly. They have the National Guard stationed at the reflecting pool right now. And there's no active investigations into all the different shootings that have happened. Like, there's no way, dude. There's no way. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I really am not touting a conspiracy right now. It's more of like, how are they this incompetent? How is the Trump administration so incompetent that they aren't capable of actually knocking down doors where it actually matters, where there is an investigation to be had? I don't get it. I genuinely do not understand.
Jr. was like a brother to Charlie, literally like a brother to him.
Yeah.
And to see the Trump brothers, to see Donald Trump himself, Kash Patel, who Charlie pushed for him to lead the FBI, had him on his podcast. JD Vance, came out of nowhere. Charlie was like not sleeping to make that happen. And to see all of these people have zero interest in the obvious holes in the story, even if
she is bringing
ultimately
it up.
the holes get filled.
She is bringing it up.
There's a picture that makes sense.
She is bringing it up. That's so funny. I mean, she agreed not to bring up Joe Biden, but she's bringing this up completely unprompted. That is so funny.
I put that at a 0% chance. But let's just, the fact
Poofster, that's a great point. Luigi had more of an investigation than these. I mean, Paniac, I think you said, I think that they are being investigated. The media just isn't focusing on those things. Paniac, I guess my point is that Trump runs the media, right? The things that he does make the media follow him. So the fact that the media isn't covering it is because they aren't out there making press releases, making public statements, that kind of thing, right? So Trump, it's up to Trump to kind of like bring this into the fold. But I agree with you that there probably is some active investigation into it. But my bigger question is, why isn't Trump kind of shepherding those investigations?
have zero interest and they're just accepting the narrative. Like what this has done to me, and I've said this, I'm just done with politics. I'm just done with politics because I can't.
Oh, I hate these people. I hate the enlightened ex-MAGA that is done with politics now. You can't be, no, you don't get that. That is not what you do, Candace. That's not what you do. You don't get to, they're all like, politicians are all corrupt, guys. All the politicians are corrupt. And like, I'm so done with politics. No. You don't get to do that. That's not, you don't get to choose that. That's not what you do. You don't get to elect a fascist and be like, politics is just too much for me right now. Then what are you talking about? Like, what? Exactly, Owen. Exactly. While still trying to influence the space. She's literally interviewing Hunter Biden right now, and she's saying that she's not interested in politics? What? Yes, we do. Both are corrupt. Callie, okay, there is some level of corruption that exists, right, on the Democratic Party. But to say both are corrupt is to say my lighter and the sun both have heat that are being generated from it. But the sun is generating a lot more heat than my little matchstick lighter, okay? So to say that and compare those two things as comparable is just flat out wrong. You wouldn't say amongst the lighter and the sun, well, I mean, both are generating heat. Like, yeah, okay, but like orders of magnitude difference, okay? It's like one is extinguishable and small. The other is a hellfire furnace that creates life on other planets that irradiate through the solar system. We need to be skeptical, Jared, in YouTube chat. We need to be skeptical. That means not jumping to conclusions. Politics and pseudoscience community is full of these who believe things with no good reason. Candace Owens contributes to that. Yeah, Jared, she's stuck in this just asking questions mantra of like, I don't trust any institutions, therefore I can be conspiratorial about everything. And if you're conspiratorial about everything, then you have no free thinking. You are not bounding or you're not grounding your beliefs in anything if you are just anti everything. Does that make any sense? She's just grifting from one thing to the next, talking about issues that pop up, but she isn't offering anything new. So that's what I'm talking about.
Even begin to comprehend it. And again, that element of gaslighting that's happening here, where they're pretending that the people who are noticing that none of this is making sense are the crazy ones, and everyone else who's like, no, turn the chapter, a week later, it's all solved.
Bro, give me every single clip of Candace Owens saying Trump derangement syndrome. Please give me every single clip of her calling Democrats Trump derangement syndrome for us having any critical views of the president of the United States of America. Like, give me a break, man. Give me a break. This whole idea of like, whoa, it's just now, it just is like, it blows my mind how we need to create an AI assisted VR so Republicans get to experience every single human emotion, because there is no possible way for them to understand anything unless it happens to them. We need some way for Republicans to experience life outside of their reality so that they can grow as people. And we need this to be like a matrix program so that they can understand what it's like to be an immigrant, queer, scientist, all these like people that they are deconstructing and trying to irradiate toxicity towards and eliminate them in society. We need some way that Republicans can step into the shoes of these people and see that, wow, oh my gosh, queer people really are trying to get the same type of freedom and liberty that I have as a white man. Wow. Oh my, wow, that's incredible. Wow, guys. Oh my gosh. Wow, maybe immigrants are trying to improve their society and their community just like how I am. And me and immigrants are both share the same humanity, and we are both trying to make things better together. We need some way. Forced VR empathy, please. Oh my gosh, man.
And this is how it went down, and none of it makes sense, but just accept this slop. It is the most infuriating thing, and it's just fully removed the scales of my eyes, and I've stopped with this left versus right, Democrat versus Republican.
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
this is sheer evil.
Oh my
versus
gosh.
good.
By the way.
Like, this is like sheer evil.
But by the way, for real, exactly.
Like I'm
exactly. It is good versus evil.
Yeah.
It is
But the problem here is that every single evil that she is talking about are all the Democrats. That's the problem. She's correct in the fact that we are absolutely not in this position in our society to dictate how this goes in the future. Okay? Absolutely. But the problem is that she is lumping every single Democrat as corrupt as the Trump or Republican Party. She's lumping everything together, which that's not the case, guys. I'm sorry, the Democratic Party is not nearly as corrupt as the Republican Party in what MAGA is doing right now. I'm sorry. And if you really think that it's like they're both the same thing, that is absolutely wrong. And I think, and I hate, by the way, the fact that right now you have people like Hassan Piker saying that, that the Democrats are fascist too. That's just as wrong as what Candace Owens is saying right here, right? The idea that all the Democrats are fascists, all the Republicans are fascists. Just imagine that worldview. That's over 50% of the country is fascist in his ideology. That also can't be true, and that is also toxic in our way of understanding what fascism is, 2, how to build partnerships and coalitions, 3, how to make political change, right? So like Candace is saying they're all corrupt in the same way that Hassan is saying they're all fascists. Like it just isn't true. It just isn't true. I'm sorry. We can't just broadly say these things. Thank you, man. Thank you for the gift in YouTube chat. Thank you. So it's just we can't generalize, guys. If your politics is so broad that you have to generalize with every single thing, right? Every single Democrat, every single Republican, your politics is broke, right? It doesn't make any sense, and you need to recontextualize your politics. Nico, I think Hassan was expressing his frustration with the DNC, but I agree there's a massive difference. No, Nico. I mean, he's said multiple times, you scratch a Democrat and a fascist bleeds. So it's like he has recently come to the fold of electoral politics because he likes that his candidates are winning, and now all of a sudden, now he likes democracy. Now he actually likes that people can vote. Now it comes to fruition that, since Mamdani, now all of a sudden electoralism does make sense. But don't have it any other way. Hassan does not agree with electoral politics, and because at the end of the day, a democratic socialist in his mind, like Mamdani, is still a fascist. That is his worldview. So that's why it's so toxic. It's so toxic and pernicious in order to have just be painting with such broad swaths of the population.
Torn the mask off of this. I said to you before, is that I pray to God that by the end of this, that you think of me as a friend, because if anything ever happened to me, I want you and Melissa team up. Like, oh my God.
It's not happening with Charlie Kirk.
Guys, like genuinely though, I do think, even with what I said with Hassan and Candace Owens, I think the point is you have to tell them the truth, and you have to give them some tough love, and it's up to that person. It's up to that person how they take it. And what happens with the Democratic Party is that they take our softness, they take our kindness for softness, and we have to push and stand up for our beliefs and be like, hey, Candace, what you're doing here is not okay, and it's toxic, and you're pushing conspiracies that are getting people harmed. If she doesn't come into the fray after that, that's up to her. But no, I don't want to be friends with someone that is like that. I think that we can build coalitions, right? I think that we can build political coalitions to get things done. You don't necessarily need to be friends with people that you are, politically organizing with, right? I think that is the bigger thing. Like, you can still make progress in a society without everyone being your best buds, but the idea that I just wouldn't seek to be Candace's friend. She doesn't have the values of someone that I would want to keep around me. And honestly, she wouldn't last. You know what I mean? Someone like that is so conspiratorial, we would all razz on her so much and make fun of her for saying just outlandish things that she wouldn't cut it. So, that's just what it is. But politically organizing in order to get the files out or something like that, let's do it. Let's politically organize in order to do that. I think that's the bigger thing.
And the criticism of you for asking the questions for someone who was like a brother to you is like, what the F are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the gaslighting. It's like, how dare you care?
Coming from someone who you've attacked and politically, you've had all of your criticism, which I have no problem with, and we disagree on so many things. But I listen to you and I go, right on. Like, Epstein, like, you want to figure out why they don't want to let the release all the Epstein files? All you got to do is literally look at a picture of Trump standing on the stage at his inauguration and look behind him.
With it.
Yeah.
With it.
It's like every single person.
This is another thing that really triggers me. Like, I was alive during, Benghazi and the Hillary Clinton email server scandal, and every single news outlet was constantly talking about the email server. Why? Because Republicans constantly brought it up. It was such a big talking point that they constantly brought it up that the media had to cover it. So much so that, like, outfits like the New York Times and all that kind of stuff had to say, hey, well, we need to look into this because we need to be self-critical. We can't just you just be bloviating and talking about this stuff without being self-critical. In the same way, Democrats at every single aspect, every single speech, every single time, you have to bring up the files as an example of the corruption that Trump extols, right? The message is very clear. Trump looks out for himself and his friends and his billionaire class, not you. And the greatest example is the files, the $400 billion that he stole in economic development money to give it to Elon Musk. Elon Musk bought access to the White House. He doesn't actually care about you or what you're going through. Bring it up every single time. The idea that Democrats have moved on, they're never bringing this up. I don't see anyone talking about it in the media. It is mind-blowing. Like Trump is implicated in having a child with a 13-year-old girl and throwing the body into Lake Michigan. Can we, for the people in the back, the president of the United States is implicated in having a child with a 13-year-old girl and throwing that body into Lake Michigan. Hello? Hello? It's wild. It is wild that we do not bring this up. We're not talking about this more. It is sick. It is absolutely sick.
His donors, without question.
I mean, it's crazy. Like Paolo Zampoli and this and that and the other thing and all of these things. It's like, okay. And by the way,
where exactly does it say this? Love my dogs. Your mom told me, bro. Like, wake up, dude. Wake up.
Anyway, my point is it's like, when are people gonna kind of wake up to the fact? And it's not left or right. This is a really, really horrible group of people that are pulling strings that impact us all, and they make us think that because you and I disagree on the graduated tax rate or some social issue, is that we are sworn enemies. Not just like sworn enemies, that I deserve violence.
And I could see them, and it does seem like both sides have woken up without question. My audience is now split, and
What?
I still say what I believe. I haven't changed my position on abortion. I'm Catholic. I have, there's nothing that has changed. I think they're just hearing me for the first time. And I do think there was something about the Charlie Kirk assassination that everyone just sort of looked up. We just sort of all looked up at the machine and was like, wait a second, what is this? Because they expected Trump to be ride or die. They expected cash. I mean, wow, this is going to be solved in the clearest way possible, because the entire political apparatus that has the power in the Department of Justice is in the hands of Charlie Kirk's friends. Like, that was how I felt, right? This is it. No, whoever did this is never going to get away with it because these are Charlie's friends. And what did we get?
They're the people that Charlie Kirk made.
Charlie Kirk made these people. That's exactly right.
That's true. That's a good point. I mean, I think Kirk is a big part and a reason why Trump got elected in 2024. Kirk was doing the political organizing for that 18 to 25-year-old, group of men that voted in large droves in order to make Trump the president. And I really do think that he was involved in helping Trump get elected. Absolutely. So I think that she is right on that aspect. I think that she's wrong in the idea of like I'm sorry, but the Democrats are the party of the working class. The Democrats are friends with no billionaires that are trying to toxically and to take over society. Like, it just doesn't exist. Like, I'm sorry, people like to say Bill Gates here as if Bill Gates is a big toxic portion of the world, but he isn't. He isn't. Like, Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation did amazing work all throughout the world to help people with life-saving medications. All, they did incredible work. He was getting extorted by Epstein because of his affair. That's what was happening. Like he was not in the files in the island at there doing that stuff with Trump and Elon. We know that the Elon and Trump were there. We know that. But Bill Gates, no. From what we know, no, that's not true. Epstein knew that Gates had an affair, and he was using that and extorting Gates for political gain and money, monetarily gain. That's what's happening. The only FC24 player, what's up, man?
Revolution to get these people elected in power. He was ride or die to
the level of disloyalty or fear. I don't know what it is.
Disloyalty
Is
disloyalty maybe guided by fear, but it's
so
still disloyalty.
disturbing.
It's disturbing, and I can't.
Where is Bill Gates right now? He's giving congressional testimony and throwing Trump under the bus and showing that he had no connection to Epstein or the files. Like, it's just, that's the truth.
I cannot forgive Trump, the Trump family, what they have done or what they have not done for Charlie.
Can I keep one of these?
Yeah.
Conspiracy?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm full on. I'm like, call me a conspiracy. I'm like you, where I'm like, oh, what is the shame tactic of the day? You're calling me a conspiracy theorist. Great. I'm like, you'd be a fool to believe the stuff that they're telling us today. The stories are telling us. I mean, it is something that is just so disturbing. And I think that the Charlie assassination was just so crazy, like, because he was so Republican conservative, but I think it's brought people together in a productive way.
Yeah. Look, I'm here, and you're here, and
True.
I really think that we're not unique. I think very, very kind of emblematic is that, like, I'm like, let's put the past, not behind us. Like, I'll explain anything you want. I'll talk about anything that you want to talk about that you still have questions about, or that anybody but like, this isn't right. This we're witnessing right now is not right.
Mm-hmm.
The level of corruption, the obfuscation, I mean, whether it's Butler or Charlie or
makes no sense.
These things
There you go.
It's just not right. And I mean, it's so glaringly not right. It's almost as if they're just saying,
F
like,
you.
F you.
They're not even
I don't
trying.
care.
We don't even get good psyops anymore. And that's what I keep saying. I'm like, it's so disrespectful that we're not even getting good psyops anymore. Like, we're supposed to believe he survived 4 assassination attempts, the first president that's ever survived 4 assassination attempts.
She's got Bill Gates, dude, Candace, notorious Dr. Greg show watcher, stealing all of my talking points. Thanks for getting your heart, Mies, Candace. I appreciate you. Yeah, it is. It sucks when people like Candace are right when they are, like, so conspiratorial and but it just, they happen to be correct, and that is the frustrating point when there is some grains of truth in what she's saying, and you can be sympathetic for people that are watching this and being like, well, I mean, yeah, these things kind of like all tied together, so then maybe her asking questions about vaccines is valid too, or all that kind of nonsense, the anti-science stuff that she says too. So, but the problem is that she's just so draped in conspiracies with everything that, where is the line? Like, when I debate conspiracy people all the time, I mean, that is my biggest question, actually, is like, why do you actually believe some things? Like, what is the line in the sand for you where now you don't believe the conspiracy and you actually agree with scientific consensus, right? That is the more interesting, like, question for me. And that's the question that I would have for Candace would be like, what isn't a conspiracy? Like, how do you actually relate to something that is real, and how do you know that thing is real?
Quietly, they lie to us about things, they make a big deal, and then they make it want to, it's going to go away. They're going to keep pretending and telling us that this.
Why would she choose to go to Candace? Bro, I mean, Candace is the biggest podcast in the world. Like, what do you mean? Of course. Like, Hunter's trying to clear his name, and she is the biggest. She's the biggest podcast in the world.
is a totally normal grieving widow. Okay. No one's buying that. Like that something's
No.
just not right here. Everyone can see that this is not how you would react to your husband being shot. And this sort of just, I'm fine. And like 2 weeks later, I fully accept the narrative. I have no interest in anything else. It's over. Let's close it. I forgive him. Let's move on.
Dude, the one of the most blackpilling things was Erica Kirk's call that she had with the peoples for Turning Point USA, and she was like, "Man, merch sales are up, guys." She was like, "Merch sales are up 400%. This is incredible." It's like, what? Like, are you kidding me? What? Has Hunter appeared on the Joe Rogan show? That's a good question, Helen. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that he would go. I'm sure that he would. I think that he should.
You're asking us to abandon our common sense and our humanity is what you're asking us to do. And that kind of seems like where we're at. Like they're insisting on this. And I'm going, where is this going to go? Because we're not doing the thing they want us to do. Like they are just constantly giving us slop all the time. I mean, even the recent White House Correspondents' Dinner, there was so much theater.
Dude, I'm sorry. That was another blackpilling thing too. Like, of all the White House correspondents that had happened, it's also the one that they remove. Like, they removed security for. Like, why would they remove security for one that had a hotel on top of the building? Like, how would that possibly? How could that be? Oh my gosh, guys. But again, like, I'm anti-conspiratorial in my thinking, so I really go to like. It's just incompetence. Like, these people are so incompetent that it probably was that they just thought it was annoying that they had security and they just chose to remove it. That it's not like this grand narrative thing. It's more of just like, these people are so bad at this and they're so unserious, right? That is a big guiding thing within MAGA, is that these are unserious people. They don't push themselves. They don't try hard at anything. They don't actually fail with the intent of improving, right? It's always just incompetence, incompetence, incompetence.
To it after so much theater. And now it's kind of, okay, Secret Service maybe shot each other and we're just going to kind of quietly move on. But Trump needs a ballroom. Like that's a normal reaction. Hey, there's a shooting duck. Hey,
yes.
We better get that ballroom.
By the way, it's going to cost $1 billion now.
This is wild. Lindsey Graham coming out and having a $1.5 billion bill within days. Like, what? Like, that was wild. And then also, what guys? This is something that I cannot get past. Like, where is the $500 billion that Trump got? Remember, he fundraised. That was the whole point. Taxpayers aren't going to pay anything. This is all from private donations. And then Meta donated $100 million. Like, there was other companies. The Oracle billionaire, I think, gave $100 million. Like, there was all this money and this piggy bank of $400 to $500 million that Trump fundraised. And then now they need another $1.5 billion. Like, where is that $400 to $500 million go? What happened to that? What happened to that money? Where did it go?
By the way, it's not from donors. And by the way, we're going to do
it's not from donors anymore.
Like, talk about gaslighting.
This has been just this, and we're not even, are we even a year into Trump's second term?
We're a little over a year.
A little over a year in a second term. And I don't think there's.
Question: why are you defending Gates when he has several affairs and his wife stated part of her country? I mean, my point is that Democrats are the party of the working class. Okay. There aren't billionaires that are siding with the Democratic Party in terms of influence. They have all gone to the Republicans, and they are all openly giving money to this presidency. They are openly Republican now, and there just aren't billionaires that are lauded and for the Democratic Party. Like the Democratic Party is the party of the working class. That just is what it is. And my point is that people say, oh well, Bill Gates is a Democratic billionaire. And my point was the Gates Foundation was something that was good. That was a genuinely good force in the world that did a lot of good work all throughout the world in terms of medicine, women's rights, clean water, all these different funding science in the United States. Like it was a mission for good that is not replicated at all on the Republican side. The Republican billionaires have no philanthropic organizations or foundations in order to push this stuff. They just don't. Like Elon Musk does not do these type of things. So my larger point is that the billionaires are with the Republican Party and the working class is with the Democrats. So if you're going to say I'm for the working class and this is just an us versus the billionaires thing, well, you should be for the Democratic Party too. Like you can't just say, oh, this isn't a red versus blue thing. It's a rich versus poor thing, when the only party that advocates for the working and poor class are the Democratic Party. That's just what it is. The Republicans are never citing and are never, economically developing their states or our country in favor of the poor or the working class. They just don't. So that's my larger point.
Just been, I'm like, how are we going to deal with 4 years of just being gaslit every 5 seconds and told that MAGA, literally MAGA, is not MAGA anymore. And what was actually never Trump, which was actually pro Hillary Clinton, if you think about it, that's now MAGA. It's literally people who have been against Trump the entire time who are lecturing us about this stuff, like the Mark Levins and the Ben Shapiros, and like, we're MAGA, and the Laura Loomers, like, we're MAGA now. Okay, great. Then I'm not MAGA. Like I've never agreed with these people. I am opposed to these people's ideas.
What?
I am opposed to unleashing an actual lunatic who has had to be Baker acted and put on Psych 5150 holds by her own parents who fear her. I'm opposed to that actually being unleashed upon the population.
Melissa always uses that 5150. I had that. She goes, that person's going to get 5150. And I go, what are you talking about? What's 5150?
It's like, and you're telling us this is MAGA now. Like this is what we do, and so it's been a challenging time because you do have to have like the humility to admit that I'm quite embarrassed
Candace,
about it.
The President of the United States of America has posted images of himself as a king, I think, half a dozen times now.
Yeah.
Like,
don't even bring that up. Bring up the fact that he's done AI images of him as Jesus. Him as Jesus, dude. Like what? What? Yeah, dude, I like Hunter Biden a lot. Like he's very articulate, educated. I like him a lot. She'll always be MAGA. Nice try, Candace. Yeah, I think so, man. This is what we have to be careful of, guys. All these MAGA that are trying to come into the fold now, they're gonna be like, oh, I was never actually for his big things. I was never for it actually. It was just, for the politics, or just my community was. I wasn't actually, for this stuff. And you're like, I'm pretty sure you were. That was a big part of your entire personality. like the whitewashing of history, where these MAGA people are not trying to say that like MAGA was their entire personality. Like, come on, dude. Like the flags, the shirts, the hats, the tattoos, the weddings. Like, dude. Like, there's no way, guys. There's no way.
When are people going to wake up and go, okay, like if that's what you want, and by the way, if that's what you want, then you know what? I know that there is the vast majority of Americans, but some that are really going to really have a problem.
Yeah.
Really have a problem.
I am MAGA.
God forbid. And this whole thing is that we all need allies now. Because they do have an enormous amount of power. One of the things that I always think about is that it's so easy to silence people, but it would be particularly easy, for instance, to go like if someone like the whole cocaine in the White House thing. By the way, I look at your families. is that, like, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but
What?
I know my truth, and that's all I can do.
And you preferred crack anyways.
100%. Okay, and I
What?
would
The
not.
evidence is
And by the way,
overwhelming. He
I would
preferred
not
crack.
I would not have forgotten it in a cubby.
Not if you're crawling on
to
the
go
floor.
into the situation room, which I've
That's a
never
really good
been in
point.
before. Okay, exactly.
That's a really good point.
No, I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway, but my point is that what if they, what if I'm flying back to LA and I go through security and they find drugs in my bag? Who would believe me that I'm clean and sober? Who would possibly believe me?
Nobody.
No one.
Nobody.
No one.
Hi, Marsha.
And I could take drug tests and I could prove it and I could, I mean, literally, I pack my bag in front of a witness everywhere I go so that at least I would be able to say that. Here's the crazy part is the idea that I would think that there is a government in power capable of doing that. It says everything anyone needs to know about where we are.
Yeah.
The idea that you feel unsafe in the United States of America because you disagree with the current administration on a issue that 70% of Americans agree with you on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we all can agree is that we need to stop the wholesale murder of a population in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you think about my father's
guys, I mean, like, what it's like Candace Owens discovering fascism in real time. Like what? Like, yes, dude. Yes, people, they go after scientists because it's an independent route in order to understand the world. They go after journalists because that's another way that people understand what's happening around them. Like, they go after social media companies because that's how we understand the world now. They shake them down for hundreds of millions of dollars through lawsuits. Like, it's like, it's been so obvious, guys. It's been so obvious that, like, this is how it's gone. And the idea that, like, all these people like Candace are they're just now coming to the realization, guys. I mean, this isn't this. They're gonna say all politicians are corrupt, or this isn't what I voted for. On everything, on like every single issue, it's going to be this, right? Where these poor Republicans voters, like, oh man, how are they supposed to know in 2024 that Trump was corrupt and he was going to lie to them? Come on, guys, give him a break. Like, what? There's no way. Olin, and they have to prepare for the next horrific run. They're getting on the ground floor of the next investment. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. This is all Candace preparing for the anti-MAGA fallout, right? And they're trying to seed themselves as like an independent rogue voice, Remember Obama rounding up Republicans and overtaking Fox? Me neither. Olin, that's a great example. Remember Jade Helm? Guys, Jade Helm was literally this is crazy. This is history lesson. This is what actually happened in the United States. The Obama derangement syndrome for the Republican Party was so vast under the Obama administration that Walmart's doing construction in Texas spawned an entire conspiracy that the Obama administration was creating underground tunnels that were going to lead to the federal invasion of Texas and to take down Texas as a state. That is actually Jade Helm. That is a real conspiracy that existed under the Obama administration. Like, what? It's true. It is true. This is actually reality. And people believed it. It was cover to cover in Fox News. It was cover to cover, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Policy as it relates. I
I
always
miss
say to
Obama
people,
too.
you know one thing he didn't do? he didn't greenlight to turn Gaza into a Trump golf course.
Yeah.
With the maitre d' being Jared Kushner with $4 billion in Saudi money.
It's despicable.
Despicable.
It's just like they did the deal before. I mean, when he posted that, I'll never forget that, posted the Trump, like,
Thank you,
here's what
Meteor.
Gaza could be, and like I could have my name in a building. And I was like,
But literally, that's what they're doing.
this is dead children. Like, you're literally saying this is all going to be fine because we're going to get up a Trump resort or something. Positively despicable. I mean, just positively despicable, tasteless, indefensible. And
it's not a joke, though, is my point.
Jared, it wasn't a joke, and that is the deal.
And that's what they're doing, literally doing. And by the way, they're doing it out in the open. I mean, it's not as if they're hiding it in any way.
I mean, well, what is it called? The Board of Peace? That's it. And then again, guys, they're fundraising for like the Board of Peace. So Trump's taking donations. It's like billions of dollars. Why do they need billions of dollars for what? Oh, it's like it's in order to ethnically cleanse Gaza, and in order to put up this casino royale in the Mediterranean. It is wild.
I mean, they are making deals as they go through. And, like I always say to people, it's like, you had such a problem with me. I didn't do any business.
I'll take the paintings.
I didn't do a single business. Every single person that bought a painting from me during the time my dad was there.
That's crazy. Paintings, guys.
In office. I had 2 shows and probably sold a total of 20 paintings and 13 of them to my best friend. And that's it. That's it. And you had a problem, not you. Well, you too. But you had a problem with me as being this emblem of corruption. These guys, okay. Don Jr.
Dude, the amount of corruption that will be, it'll take books in order to actually outline all the different ways that the Trump administration has fleeced this country. It is so vast. I mean, the problem is that I don't see how it ever stops now. That's the big thing. Now that the Republicans know that this level of corruption is capable, like when will they stop and how will they stop? Why will they stop? I don't know if they will. That is truly the problem now that we face ourselves. We have unleashed this, and by not holding them accountable, like this is genuinely why I still think that, and this isn't very popular, but I'm sorry, but we have to impeach Trump if we do win the House in 2020, in the midterms. Like we have to impeach him, because it has to be on record that we do not support this level of corruption. They should be multiple impeachments. I'd probably say one for all of the attacks. There could be in terms of tariffs. There could be some in terms of personal finance, for the billions of dollars that they swindled and stolen. All the illegal wars that he has created. We have to impeach him, even if it does not lead to him being removed. We have to, because or else every single president after this will basically say, all right, well, we're going to do it. And if the Democrats try to play the higher road, right, and say, well, we're not going to do anything because of that, the Republicans are just going to come in after and be like, well, guess what we're doing, baby? We're going back to the corruption. So there needs to be accountability. There has to be new laws passed. There has to be, it just has to be. It's just there is no way. I mean, obviously, a girl. I agree with you. Girl with 2 dogs nails it. We need to impeach and remove. Absolutely, girl. But I don't think that is on the cards. I mean, absolutely. Can the pendulum swing back? I think so. I think, Jared, like, the thing is that people need to, the Democrats, I think that the Democratic establishment is kind of understanding that people are really hungry for a change in the status quo. And I think that, we and the primaries have to vote someone in that is willing to bring the fight. that is willing to actually push on this like never before. Sheepadoodle, thank you so much, man. Thank you. And if we don't, though, and if we kind of elect an establishment Democrat that kind of just wants us to go back to normal, that's very dangerous because, as I said before, and I will continue saying, we cannot have one constitution for the Democratic Party and one constitution for the Republican Party. We have to have one constitution. So if the authoritarian power that exists in the presidency today for the Republicans exists, then we have to use that at the Democrats in order to show them, hey, this is bad. This is, or else we're doomed. Or else we can't go back. It can't be that the Democrats play to the 1787 Constitution and these Republicans get this new 2026 updated authoritarian, stuff that they can do whatever they want. It's not fair, one, and then two, it doesn't, like, nobody is going to choose a Democratic Party when they are so shackled and slow to react to things, right? That is the inherent problem. And I think that inherently, because of social media, because of news cycles happening so fast, people don't really want to go back to that slower, boring, grindy level of politics with the old Democratic Party. I think that's not as fun. But take that to say that Biden was the most presidentially progressive and accomplished president in our lifetimes. It's just undoubtedly is the truth that Biden passed more progressive legislation than any other president in our life. And so Biden really did show that it is possible. It is possible in order to pass this legislation, in order to better better the material conditions of people. But the problem is that they didn't do a good job of enacting it. They didn't, which is the executive part of the executive branch. You have to execute. You have to execute your bills once they've been passed. But so much of Democratic politics is kind of in this realm of like legislation focused, legislation getting passed. What are the bills? How are they getting passed? As opposed to, okay, what's the Biden administration doing now that the bills are passed? How are they actually being enacted? That's that next level, that second layer politics that we need to get to as Democrats in order to understand. Pelosi, McConnell, AOC, Lindsey Graham, they're all the same. Yeah, see, that's your politics is broken, bro. So like your temperature gauge is basically saying, it's like, imagine a thermometer that just said hot for everything. And it's like, well, yeah, bro, because it's higher than absolute zero, 0 Kelvin, and then everything higher than that is just reads hot on the thermometer. So you're trying to be you're so woke that you have insomnia, so that doesn't make any sense. No, I meant the words that I said. I didn't say Biden. We really meant Obama. No, that doesn't make any sense. Obama wasn't that accomplished legislatively. Other than the ACA, he didn't pass progressive legislation. I'm sorry, but it's true. Again, the problem is that the Biden administration didn't do a good job of actually telling people what was actually passed. So like, he wasn't out there as a spokesperson for his legislation that was being passed. He just passed the legislation and mic dropped and then moved on. So that's the big problem. Like if you just like waved a magic wand in front and did like a Men in Black like mind wipe for people, and you said that it was the Bernie Sanders administration instead of Biden in 2024, like people would be like, people would say the Bernie Sanders administration was the best president of all time. There would literally be wall-to-wall coverage about how we need to elect Democratic Socialists just like Bernie. Bernie was the reason why it worked. It was absolutely incredible. But because people don't actually follow policy and because they don't actually care about politics, they just performatively talk about politics, we get in a scenario where someone like a president like Biden isn't seen as accomplished. And that just doesn't make any sense. And that's completely wrong. But That's what it is. That's just what it is.
got the single largest loan guarantee from the Department of Defense ever handed out of over $600 million for an energy company, a fusion energy company, of which he has zero experience in. They have gotten Jared Kushner, who's never run a private equity fund, has now a $4 billion private equity fund.
$4 billion.
With 80% of the money coming from the Middle East, of which he continues to raise as he is the ambassador at large on behalf of the Trump administration, not as a political appointee, but simply as a son-in-law of the president.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
To come to a peace deal of a war in Iran that they started that has cost the economy billions and billions of dollars.
Based.
For a war nobody wanted.
Based. True.
That
It's all
every
true.
president before him, was pressured by the Israelis to get into. And every single one, regardless what you think of them, from Jimmy Carter, through President Reagan, through both of the Bushes, through Clinton, through my dad, said, you're out of your damn minds. And here's the reason why. This is what's going to happen.
So true.
So who benefits right now?
Dude, he's so... It's just spitting, man. He's so right. I mean, this is why Hunter Biden is so lethal and why they continually have to attack him, because he legitimately speaks so eloquently about these issues, right? And it's like, he's dangerous. He's very dangerous. So I think that he's awesome too. I think that his talks with addiction is something that everyone can relate to. You know, we have a huge epidemic of addiction problems in the United States right now. So like his wisdom with that is actually really like everyone knows someone that has a problem with addiction, you know? And it's enlightening. And his takes on politics is genuinely spot on, eloquent, and needed right now. It really is amazing.
You know who benefits? The people that are making trades.
Bro, I've seen the laptop files. Again, Toji, the laptop never existed, dude. You've been completely hoodwinked by the media, your algorithm, bro. There was no laptop. There was no Hunter Biden laptop. He was hacked. His entire online files, basically his iCloud was hacked. And people think that now, and they put this into this fake laptop story, but there was never a laptop at any of the repairs. It's just completely faked.
Of billions of dollars on market manipulation that occur.
Insider
And we all know
trading
it's
has been...
literally out in the open, but who's gonna, you know,
you will not get a
about
disagreement out of me. Like, I am so far off the Trump train. He's posting.
No,
me.
by the way, I'm not even saying it.
Like, it's embarrassing. But it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing because we got behind him as the answer to corruption. We thought he was going to be this outsider. You know, he's going to go to DC. He's going to drain the swamp, and then he became the Loch Ness monster. You know, and so it's like, I don't know what it is about that swamp, but you get swimming in it, and it's like people do this. And yes, it has been for Israel. Not to say that Trump wasn't pro-Israel. Most presidents actually are pro-Israel when they go in there, and if they go anti-Israel, they kind of end up dead. But it's or they sort of get kicked out. If you want to talk about Nixon and the scandal of Watergate, which I've revisited and did think that had a lot more to...
Guys, this is another, like, don't fall for these conspiracy things. Israel does not run the United States, guys. Do not fall into this conspiracy trap, and she has, right? Like, the idea that Israel somehow runs our government is completely false. Maybe they have an outsized influence on politics in the United States, for sure, but they do not run the government. And how they constantly talk about this issue is just absolutely not correct. It's just it is not true. Biden's Jared in YouTube chat. Thanks for hanging out, man. Biden's laptop, just another excellent example of how MAGA are victims of confirmation bias. Any story that sounds good to them and confirms what they already believe must be true. No need to confirm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. I mean, the guy is a victim of a hacking. Like, imagine all your online documents, your Google Drives, your iMac account, your Google Cloud, your iCloud, all of that getting hacked, and then them fabricating some type of laptop as justification for why they are allowed to leak all this information. That's just what it is. So it's really bad.
Do with his shifting viewpoints, but that wasn't the issue. Like, I was pro-Israel, generally speaking, not very educated about the topic. It's this level of corruption that you're talking about when you are willing to let real Americans be.
He admitted to getting hacked, and you think it's all fake at the same time. Yeah, Toji, because I don't know if you know, but there can be photos in the sky on the internet, okay? And they didn't have a physical laptop. They created the laptop as a guise, as a way to justify pushing out and leaking what's on someone's laptop. I mean, think about it, dude. Like, I worked for Geek Squad, all right? I worked for Geek Squad as a computer tech person, all right? So the idea that I had the right, in order for any laptop to come in, to go and leak all that information onto the internet and give access to everyone's data that would be on a laptop, even if there was a laptop and there wasn't, the idea that you could leak anyone's private data and photos of them is just asinine. And this is the problem, is that MAGA is allowed to poison the well and allowed to go 10 steps down the road, and then now everyone says, wait, what happened here? And they're like, oh, what do you mean? It's already done, dude. We're already 10 steps down the road. And we're like, wait, why are you doing this? Why is this allowed? And it's not, and it shouldn't be allowed. Like, we shouldn't even, the question, like, he is a victim here. Hunter Biden is a victim of a vast conspiracy in order to tarnish his name and his father's name in order to change the election outcomes. So, like, any type of, large scale hacking into the Trump administration, the Republicans would cry foul, say how unfair it is, say how, you can't do that. And here we are. But here we are because Republicans are the ones who get to dictate what we are allowed to do in politics. Now we are sitting here talking about whether or not there's a real laptop or not, as opposed to why should they even be allowed to leak it in the first place, even if there was. Speaking of Patel, Meteor in YouTube chat, thank you, man. Speaking of Patel, I'm surprised how brazen he allows his social appearance to be out in the open like that. I'm so used to the FBI working in shadows, but now we get Patel gossip monthly. Dude, yeah, and he's in, like, he's partying with the NHL? Like, what, the cup champ, the goal, the champions or something. He's like he's like a playboy, bro. It's like a Playboy's version of what the FBI director is. He's like literally thinks that he's James Bond because he's the director of the FBI, and he's going everywhere, in this nonsense. He's globetrotting, and it's wild. Yeah, it's some hockey team. I forget which one it was, but yeah. Wait, hold on. That's different because Hunter was a private citizen. Okay, so then it's even. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Democrats are the ones who have constantly overreached. Oh my gosh, dude, you're insane, man. It's so funny to me. You think that the Democrats are the people that have constantly overreached? What do you, like, the idea that, like, give me a break, dude. You're lost, man. You're so lost. That is so funny. That doesn't make any sense.
Harmed, their day-to-day lives be harmed. They're suffering at the gas pump. Their groceries are expensive. All so that you could further enrich. How much more money does Trump family need? I mean, just like, literally, how much more money do you need? Like that.
Yes.
You're going to allow this to happen. Don't you just want to have now the legacy of being a good president? I mean, this is.
Yeah, I was saying to you about, like, the cryptocurrency thing. I think there's incredible promise in cryptocurrency. I believe in the meme token. I'll do something one day to create a community, and there's really good reasons to do it. There's really interesting ways, and I know people can disagree. I just happen to be kind of like a
crypto guy.
I mean, just because of my understanding. I think it is incredible freedom in a world
Yeah.
in which we've been controlled by banks. So if you
Yeah.
have the same problem that I have with big pharma banks and the Fed and these like where does money come from kind of thing?
Mhm.
Is it like
Agreed. Genuinely, I agree. I mean, as a scientist, I'm like more technologically inclined than other people, I think, but I definitely do. The technology behind Ethereum and all these blockchain technologies, I think it is really interesting. You know, I think that it is something that's cool. It needs to be vastly regulated, obviously, and the problem is these rug pull scams that are hurting people. Cryptocurrency really needs to be regulated by the SEC, kind of, similar to how businesses are. But I think that would actually be a good thing, right? That would be good for us if it was. But the problem is that we've kind of, with the Trump administration, now they are creating their own scam coins. They are, using it as a slush fund in order to embezzle money into the United States. So it's just wild. Nico, they needed the laptop story because they could claim ownership of the data after 120 days. There it is. That's it, Nico. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Flo, both parties are bought and paid for. Corrupt. Yeah, that's you're either a Hassan fan or you're ex-MAGA trying to absolve any of your self accountability from from being a better person. So I don't know.
like
Both parties are the same is just lazy. Exactly, Jared. I mean, like, I'm sorry, but if you're saying both parties are the same and we are in 1999 and we are talking about top marginal tax rates of 38 versus 35. Thank you, Helen. Thank you so much. Then that maybe makes sense, right? But now that's not what's happening right now, guys. It's just not. It's so lazy.
I truly believe in what Satoshi, kind of the manifesto of Bitcoin. But that's just me, regardless. My point is that they had such an opportunity.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
had such an opportunity. I'll give you this. I want you to look at the conspiracy theories. Go look
Thank you, Helen. Thank you for the Flow State Jewels in YouTube chat. Thank you.
up Gal Luft and Alexander Smirnov. They're the two principal individuals that made the only claim that people hung their hat in Congress and elsewhere. As
Everything else is window dressing. 98% APAC. No, bro. Again, just your brain is broken, man. Like, I'm sorry, but your politics, it doesn't make any sense. APAC does not run this country. Israel does not run this country. I mean, it's just nonsense, dude. I mean, come on.
it relates to my dad and corruption, bribery and stuff like that. One of them is a fugitive from justice wanted by Interpol and the United States government, Gal Luft, who is a former IDF officer who is believed to be living in Israel as a fugitive, which the Israelis will not help us locate. And the other one is Alexander Smirnov, who is a known Israeli intelligence agent. Those are the two people who was in a prison in the United States.
Exactly, Antifa Barbie. Exactly. They buy influence for sure, right? They influence politics by running ads, by trying to influence. APAC has an outsized influence, and Israel has an outsized influence in the American political system compared to other nations. Absolutely. But does it run it? I mean, these are actual Nazi talking points, ladies and gentlemen. This is the problem, with a Zionist occupied government stuff, where it really does create this conspiracy of this global cabal of Jewish people that are running the world, and that's just not true. That's just absolutely not true.
So serving 6 years, and they can't find him. Bureau of Prison can't find him in his prison, in the prison. He is on furlough, but no one knows where he's been furloughed to. The only passport that he has is an Israeli passport. There are forces that I used to say, "Oh, this is bullshit." Have you ever read The Devil's Chessboard?
Yes. Alan Dulles, looking into the CIA, I read this book, Chaos, that then led me to the Devil's Chessboard. It's actually on our list for books to read for the book club.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It'll
That's
knock
wild.
you. Chaos, CIA,
Yeah.
the Manson
I read-
stuff. That
yeah.
was the one that
Yeah.
knocked me. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the heck is our
But then
government?
you
What is
read The
going
Devil's
on?
Chessboard and
Yeah.
you realize that anyway.
What the CIA is capable of, and you think it's all a conspiracy. And I think that's what they're fearful of, is that people will have awakened to that.
Yeah.
And so when they're kind of trying to throw red meat now, which you see them doing, the left, the right, it's just not landing the same anymore, because
No.
we,
Oh my
we just
gosh.
realize that there is a
By the way,
devil's
that's,
so
chessboard.
boring.
that's why I've, in terms of the left, like, you think I'm going to defend the DC elite of the left? They crushed my dad. They when
They did. That's so good, because he's pointing out something that is really interesting. People always say that the Democratic Party is not reactionary to the will and whims of the people, but they did push Biden out. They pushed Biden out of running for president, which people do not give enough credit for. They blame Kamala Harris, which is unfair, I think, because she ran an incredible campaign for how much time that she spent. And I think that it's, by the way, incredibly misogynist how they aren't, like, she's just given no chance in people's eyes in order to run again. The most qualified Democratic presidential candidate somehow can't run again because she lost in 2024. I think that it's just patently misogynist against her. But what he's talking about here is the other side, where he's like, they shouldn't have pushed my brother, my dad out. They should have let my my dad run still, which is wild to me. I think that they did a good job of running him, letting, you know. Look, I think that Biden was the most progressive, most legislatively accomplished president of our lifetime. He should have mic dropped, said, "I'm going to pass the baton. Someone else should do this." That should have been it. That should have been the next step. They should have done Biden as a president should have done way more in order to help and front load the vice president at that time, because Biden was doing such a good job. And by the way, Vice President Harris was doing an incredible job in the Senate. People don't even talk about this. People don't talk about all the work that she was doing in order to make the tie-breaking votes in order to pass all that legislatively progressive legislation, right? And she should have been shepherding out that in front of the media so that she was everywhere. She should be talking about it. She should have been saying, this is what we're doing. They had the person. They just didn't use her how they should have. And instead, like, they allowed kind of the right-wing echo chamber to denounce Joe Biden as a president and say Sleepy Joe, that he's hiding in a bunker, all that kind of stuff, when they really had the spokesperson that they should have been pushing up. And apparently they didn't do that because they didn't want her spotlight to overshadow Joe Biden. But I feel like if Joe Biden kind of like was going to say, I'm going to take off the next one, take the next one off anyway, that kind of makes more sense. But yeah, I mean, she did an incredible job. And I think that people are way too harsh on him. Nico said that they should have ran a primary. I mean, nobody else wanted to run against her. Apparently, I mean, they were going to they could have run people at that DNC and it could have been happening there. But nobody wanted to run against her. So I think that, again, like, being anti-conspiratorial myself, like, I do feel like that could just have been the reality. The reality could have been that just everyone, as the Democratic Party hopefuls, kind of all say, hey, well, if she's the best, if she's the best at the time, and we agree with that she's the best, there it is. Truthfully, I'd like to see Kamala become a U.S. Court justice. Yeah, maybe. Also, I think that Obama would be a really good Chief Justice. I think that like following Taft's the view there. I think Taft Obama could be the next Taft. Becoming so that'd be cool.
They saw their chance. They did everything in their power to push him out. You know why? Because he was never part of that club. He was never part of the Epstein class.
True.
He lived in Delaware.
True.
Everybody that you can think whatever you want about my dad is that literally my dad never bought a stock or a bond because he made a commitment in 1972 when he was 30 years old after Watergate never to own a stock or a bond.
That's wild.
And he did.
That's so wild.
My dad was the poorest person ever to enter the presidency, and the poorest person, not poorest. I mean, he had money. He'd written a book, and he'd done well. But he had the least amount of wealth entering the presidency in modern years since 1900 than anybody. And when he was in the United States Senate, he was not only the poorest man in the Senate, not poor again. He made over $170,000 in average over the course of 45 years. But
God,
not just the Senate, but 535 members of Congress. He was never a part of that club. And that's what I wish, like, you knew. That's what I wish they knew. And I am not here in any way to defend, the DC elites of my own party. I think that they're just as complicit in all this bullshit.
No, without question, like the Nancy.
Yeah, does Candace really think that Joe Biden should have been the nominee in 2024? I mean, because that's what he's getting at. So I don't know if I don't think that she would say that, and I don't think a majority of Democrats would have been okay with Joe Biden being the nominee in 2024. I think that, like, if I would, looking back at it, if I had the chance, like, if I had, knowing what I know now, obviously hindsight's 2020, it's impossible to say, but like the idea of another woman being sullied, like, with a loss and the misogyny that goes with that, it was uniquely unfair that Kamala Harris was burdened with this. And because she was, I just think that she did a good job, and that it's really sad that first Hillary and now Kamala, where we've had these would-be great presidents on the Democratic side punished, and I think that's the sad part.
Pelosi's. What's your opinion on Kamala then? Did you like her?
Look,
you didn't. You definitely didn't.
You know what I did, and I don't want to say anything. I didn't know the vice president that well.
Okay.
I mean,
she doesn't want,
and
see, he's like, he doesn't want to say, because I wouldn't either if I was like, was his thing, because it wasn't her fault that she was pressed into that position. She patriotically took up the mantle, and so the idea that she should be punished, I agree. I mean, I agree with Hunter Biden here.
And she was always nice to me personally, and so that was my, but I didn't have. The other thing that people think that I was like living at the White House, I literally didn't leave my home because it was really hard to leave. I stayed, in the hill that I lived on until the fires came. That's where I was. I was with Bo and Melissa, and trying to make it through, and not trying to make it through, thriving, making it through would otherwise have seemed like a horrible.
Oh, thank you.
From any outsider's perspective. So I'm not dodging the question, but I don't want to shit on the vice president because I have no reason to necessarily.
No, she did nothing personal to you. She was nice to you.
Never did anything personal to me.
Yeah.
I think that she is, so
kind of
I really don't
machine stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't, in terms of all of that stuff, I'm, I think I'm tough enough to realize that, that's part of, like, when you get to politics at that level, people kind of, I think, have this misperception of me is that for 50 years I was a crack addict and I was that picture. I mean, I went to Yale Law School.
Yeah.
I served in the Clinton administration. I was chairman of the board of the U.S. UN World Food Program, which is the largest humanitarian
Thank you.
organization in the world.
Thank you
I
for that
served on
green light.
16 boards before I ever joined the board of Burisma or anything. I taught at Georgetown I was, taught at the master's program of the School of Foreign Service for 4 years.
I actually didn't know
Wow.
that.
Yeah. And
That was something that surprised me too, not to be rude, but I thought you were dumb
yeah,
because, I don't know, maybe because
Like, what? She just like assumes. I mean, that's the thing, is that people just assume because the Trump kids are just rocks. That she's like, I just assumed you're as poorly educated as they are. Like, what was that? Thank you, Pamela.
McCain was on The View for too long or something, and I was like, here we go, just like rich political kids. Like, I mean,
See, yeah.
she's just so dumb, and yet she's just
Dude,
always
they don't
here.
have. The thing is that the Biden family doesn't have the political power for them to be kind of like ushering in generations of politicians. Like Joe Biden, he was like the youngest senator at a time, but I don't think that he isn't like this political juggernaut of a family. Come on. And that's what it is. Like your connections is okay. It's like it is something, but it's not going to get you everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if Harris had won, we wouldn't be going through what we are now. Exactly. Country 11. Exactly. I think that, and too often people again say both sides here. Oh, Harris would have been going to war with Iran too, or all this other nonsense. It's like, no way. There's no way that she would have been making the same choices. Like, it's wild to me that people actually say that they are like literally the same. It happens a lot with Hassan says this. Hassan still says that the Harris presidency would have done all these things. I just can't.
Like they're just giving her stuff, and so I think there's also that perception where it's their rich kids don't work, aren't smart, and so I was kind of expecting you to be sort of a Meghan McCain, and then when I watched it, I was like, oh wait, he actually has brain cells, which is by the way remarkable that you didn't kill them all off when you were on crack.
Yeah, I told you before. I think they got pickled all the vodka
or something like that. So I was like, this is interesting. He's not a total idiot. So there are the stereotypes of rich kids who just keep getting handed all of these awards.
Lesser of two evil kind of loses its value when it's about genocide. Like I don't know where you were watching, but Harris like spoke out more forcefully against for the people and the Palestinians than any other president or presidential candidate that I've ever seen. So like the idea that they are both the same. I mean, I'm sorry, but like it's, Joe Biden was like trying to get ceasefires. He was like on the side of the Palestinians. I genuinely do not understand this take that, there wasn't a direct choice that could have helped the Palestinians. And obviously Harris would have been the better choice there. Like having Trump as president has created a scenario where Netanyahu can be as unhinged as he possibly wants because he knows that there is no checks from the United States. So that just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, exactly, Jared. I agree. Suggesting that the Kamala administration would do anything that Trump admin would do is pure cope. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so it's just absolutely wild, man. It is absolutely. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
In life,
I say to everybody is that if there's anybody in the history of America that benefits from low expectations, it's me. Is that people are like, oh my God, like you aren't.
You're not dumb.
Complete moron. You haven't pulled out your crack pipe yet, which is really crazy. But that gives you an idea, by the way, of the level to which I was muted because they didn't want it. And, you have to subvert yourself to a machine to a certain degree. And like, it wasn't up to me if I wanted to go out and like rail at the machine or rail at, go on and argue with Jake Tapper, or,
because it would harm you.
She wouldn't have done half of what Trump did, but a Democrat isn't going to move us forward. I mean, like Biden did move us forward. more so than any other president in our lifetime. Like it just did. I mean, we're like hundreds and hundreds of billions, $480 billion, like in economic development that was stolen by Trump in order to offset the money that he spent on billionaire tax cuts. So like like there's huge strides. Like they halved childhood poverty. Halved. Halved. Like it was like I had people that I knew as a grad student that were saying things like, man, what is happening? The government is giving us money in order to pay for things like childcare for the first time. Like if you aren't aware, the childhood tax credit got paid to you every single month if you had a child during the beginning of the Biden administration because of the pandemic. People were literally taking money and using that as a monthly expense to offset the cost of child rearing. Like it was the most pro family policy that ever has existed in the United States. And Biden just did that, and he did so much that we've even forgotten what he did. So, but the problem is that the Republicans didn't want to pay for that, and now the childhood poverty has gone up, but it was the most meaningful drop in childhood in child poverty since the creation of SNAP. So, I mean, we're talking huge gains in quality of life improvements for families, for Americans, for everyone, and it's like, it's like electoralism is all we have. Like that just is what it is. Like if we want a political revolution, that's fine. Let's do it. Let's push it as far as we can. Like, let's go, and a lot of like anti-electoralism people have kind of changed their tune with Mamdani, which is good. They're seeing it. They're seeing like, wow, you can actually make a big difference through elections, and we don't have to LARP this cringy, like, revolution by any means, like stuff, which doesn't benefit anyone, because the downfall of our society only imperils marginalized people even more. You're only going to have people that are pushed to the sides in our society pushed down even more so when you don't have the guardrails of a government. And that's the sad part, is that in a scenario where it is like an open revolution, right? The people that are going to benefit the most are the people with capital, because they are going to be able to create stockpiles of weapons, of money, of cash, and they're going to benefit the most. So any type of like pushing of an accelerationism is only going to benefit the right. They're only going to benefit the Republican Party. It's like accelerationism literally does not make sense if you are a leftist. It just doesn't. It only hurts people like us and the people that actually care about society and that want to look out for people and make improvements in quality of life. So that's just, yeah, for sure.
Dad.
Yeah, because then I become even more of the story. But you give up your voice in that way, and it's incredibly emasculating. And particularly when the portrait that is being painted of you as a ne'er-do-well that never did anything in their life, like you want to talk about experience? Go look at my goddamn resume. I have 10 times more experience in 10 times more things, and I know I am 10 times more well-read than either one of the Trump boys, regardless of what you think about them. Now, you know what I can't do is that I'm not a great shot, and I don't know anything about real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know anything about making money, and that's why I'm about a few $1 million in debt. Yeah, and I don't. And I need to change that one around in some way.
There it is.
At the age of 56. But the portrait that was painted on me has given me this incredible gift, so that I can walk into your house, into your studio, and I guarantee that people afterwards are going to go, I still think he's but my God, he's not. You know what? Like, can you believe it? He didn't go do lines in the bathroom.
No, I was
Like
that was my
RFK?
reaction when I watched Andrew Callahan. I was like, wow, he's actually thought through his addiction. He's talking about the ritual. Like, this guy's not an idiot. And you're right. I guess you do benefit from having exceedingly low expectations.
Exactly.
But it was sort of like you said the first time you spoke, and of course you did sort of have to be quiet because otherwise you would have definitely hurt your father. And there's a machine that's kind of bigger than you that you have to submit yourself to.
By the way, the rage was there. You could tell that I even went back. My dad just said, "Honey, that was really beautiful parts of it. Did you have to use the F word that much?" I was like, coming from you. Yeah. Which the thing about my dad though is he at least from a different generation, he never talked to us that way ever. Like even around my mom, or But anyway, so I'm trying to curb the F word for my mom and dad.
What? How old were you, by the way, when your mother died in the car accident?
It's interesting. I do think that like decency politics, I do think there is some benefit of like making it so thank you, Sheepadoodle. Thank you for the gifts, man. Like having the president be something that like kids can watch matters. And I think that the idea of swear words and having a belligerent president that is just out there castigating people in society, because like Trump will make these speeches and he's attacking people. He's attacking marginalized groups, or he's attacking of Democrats. He's swearing in his speeches. I do think that there is some benefit of having a president where people can watch his speeches or their speeches with the family, and like, for example, this happened a lot during the 2024 election. Okay. When we would watch a campaign with the Democrats with Harris, my little girl said, "Oh, she's a girl just like me." Like she literally said that. I always thought that was kind of like, does that actually happen? But she literally unprompted came up to me and was like, "Oh, she's a girl just like me." And I was like, "Yeah, she might be president one day." And then we had a whole conversation about that. So I genuinely do think, like, would I have been able to have her speech on if I knew that she was swearing a bunch? No, I would not have put her speech on if I knew that she was going to be swearing around my kids. I can't do that. You can't have like a bunch of swear words and a bunch of because the kids just they take that stuff and then they spread it everywhere. Okay, like I swear more than probably like most, when I'm off stream or something like that. But that doesn't mean that on here I'm like saying it because I want this to be something that you could watch with your kids in the room or something. You don't have to have headphones on because you don't know what I'm going to say next or something like that. So it just makes it more welcoming, the messaging welcoming to people. I think that's important. So yeah.
Then
Just about 3. I was a month away from 3. Bo was a month away from 4. My sister.
What was the
3? Bo was a month away.
by the way, when your mother died in the car accident?
Just about 3. I was a month away from 3. Bo was a month away from 4.
So like 3 is starting preschool, 4 is TK, and then 5 is kindergarten. So yeah. So yeah, it makes a big difference. And that's really young. That's really young. That's really sad. I wonder if I wonder whether he remembers.
My sister Caspi was about 18 months, and who my oldest daughter's named after, Naomi, and yeah.
Do you have any memory of her?
Yeah, it's
A feeling, probably.
I don't know for certain whether the things that I have, which I believe are memories, are memory,
Oh,
because it would be very rare.
this kills me. My kids are 9, 7, 5, 3 right now, and I have my little girl's about to turn 4, and I worry about this. Like I worry about like if something were to happen to me, would she still remember me? And like I think about that all the time. You know, when she like comes up and she's like so gives me so much love, more so than any of the other kids actually. Big hugs and kisses and all that kind of stuff. And I wonder like, would she ever remember me if there's something happened to me? Um, it's devastating to think that um, your kids wouldn't remember you. You know, that's why. I mean, yeah. But anyway, I have pretty clear memories going back to 2. Wow, that's really wild. My little brother remembers mom. Aw, Envy. That's nice.
At that age, I have distinct memories of my mom carrying us around in picnic basket,
Ah,
and and I even have a distinct memory of the car, not the accident, but of the car. Um, uh, but I don't know if it's because I've been, so steeped in stories.
yeah.
The beautiful part, like everything, there's a. Have you ever read any of the Gnostic Gospels?
No.
You really should, because I know you're. Uh, I've listened to you talk about your Catholicism and your faith, and
And I'm like a toddler in the faith, and there's
yeah.
so much. It's like so rich.
So it's really cool.
Did she recently convert? Is that what she's saying? I'm a toddler. Like, did she recently convert for her husband or something? I know, Nico. I know it's wild.
One of the things that uh, I've always been a student of, because when I first went to George.
Oh my God, did you guys see the um the clip of Hassan going around? He was asked like, what's the latest book that you've read, or name one of your favorite books? He didn't have a single book. It's like, oh my God, dude, that's so embarrassing. Not a single book. It was so funny because like a month ago, he had a picture taken of him on a train, and he was reading like one of Lenin's books. So it's like he couldn't even remember to talk about the book that he was cosplay reading at that time. He didn't even say that. He could literally have just said Communist Manifesto. Like he could have just named a book. Like named a book. He did. He couldn't. He literally couldn't. It was so embarrassing, dude.
The two closest people after I got Georgetown were two Jesuit
Yeah, Envy.
priests. One was named Ted Desiak, and another one was Bill Watson. And both Father Watson and Father Desiak led me into this idea of service. I started a thing called the Jesuit International Volunteers with Father Watson. Father Desiak, and then I went to the JBC because of Father Watson, which is like domestic Peace Corps, and I did that for a year. And then when I opened up my own law firm, all my clients were Jesuit universities, because I was friends with presidents of the universities that were just like 5 or 6 years older than me. That were now becoming presidents of St. Joe's and Granton and Loyola and all these Jesuit universities, Detroit Mercy. And but anyway, the Gnostic Gospels. The Gnostic Gospels were they were found in Naj Hammadi, and they
Let's see. Rage, Bulls on Parade, Killing in the Name of, and Mic Check. Boom. Next, Nico. Boom.
they were written in the period between Christ's death and the first 2 centuries. And there's the Gospel of Thomas, Gospel of Philip, and Constantine now I'm going to do this boring the hell
No,
out of
I'm
her.
very
my
interested
gosh.
in this. This is
Emperor Constantine converted
Mhm.
to Christianity.
Yep, the end.
But what he did, and really what it was about, was not a
What was I
not a
thinking?
true
The first on Battles for Los Angeles. What I was thinking about. I don't know if it's actually mic check. I think it's radio, something radio. I can't think of it.
transformation of faith. It was a way to consolidate power. So he made the Christian bishops.
Guerrilla radio. That's
Or,
it.
you know.
That's it. Guerrilla radio. Yeah. So, see, I couldn't do it. There you go.
200 years into the very, very early church, he made the Christian bishops his lieutenants and enforcers as it related to the religion, so that he can control the more radical elements of it. And so that is when they came to an adoption of just 4 gospels.
Mm.
And there's all of these other writings that became that you could get excommunicated for promoting. That is really beautiful portraits of, like, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and Jesus's relationship with Mary Magdalene. But anyway, it's not a gospel, but it is one of the texts. I think it's called the Acts of John. There is a thing that Christ says, and he says, I'm paraphrasing, you must learn to suffer as I do in order to be able not to suffer. And that is the greatest lesson of everything, is not having gratitude for all the good things in my life, for having immense gratitude for all of my life. Like, I wouldn't be here. We couldn't have this honest conversation. I couldn't get to know you as a human being if every single thing didn't occur behind it. I would not feel this gift of being alive on a daily basis the way that I do if I hadn't overcome committing suicide dozens of times in motel rooms, in places that I could never afford to be found dead. You know, and it's.
I mean, I think he's preaching for sure, Robin, but I think that there is something to say that, like, you are a sum of your experiences, right? Where if we as humans have to fail in order for us to learn, and you know, I like, for example, I'm not proud of the fact that I, like, failed out of community college, that I got fired from my Best Buy job for being late too much. But those things are part of my history, and those experiences made me appreciate academia, education, invest into myself through going in, back to school, and it forever changed me. It made me like a better person by going through that stuff. So I do think that a lot of times, like, religious people, when they talk about Christ and they talk about the Bible and stuff, it sullies the message a lot of times, because it's just there are good things to be learned from these stories and these parables, but you don't need the Bible in order to learn them, so it is very frustrating. Yeah, NB, it is bad. It is. I think Hassan says some, like, really cringe things, but at the end of the day, I do think that he's a comrade, and I hope that he, like, he gets better over time. You know what I mean? So I think that there's, like, a lot worse things that people do than the cringe stuff that he does sometimes, for sure. But we have, what was the Bible really trying to tell us? I don't know, Tori. I know. Bro's never read a book. I don't know. Well, NB, check out the picture that he has of him reading Lenin's book. Like, he posted a picture of him, hey, just reading, and it was like him reading Lenin's book on a train, like, a month ago. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, just say in the book that he's. Who's my favorite commentator that I listen to? Oh man, dude, I honestly try to remove myself as much as I can from political commentators. Like, and and if I could, I would read primary literature and primary stuff constantly. Like it really, like I don't listen, like I can't listen to someone when I know the next thing out of their mouth, and if it happens twice, like I'm out. Like it's just like one time might be a coincidence, but if it happens again, I just cringe and go out. I do think like genuinely that like Ezra Klein probably is like one of the like intellectuals of our day that is really like interesting. His viewpoints on stuff, that is like probably one of the only people that I like will go back to and be like, I wonder, like when he says stuff, like it is different. And I've heard him talk and be interviewed about this, and he doesn't read or indulge himself into like politicking online. And he tries to read books as opposed to digesting as much political slop as possible. It's just like yeah. So I think it is interesting. Like the Joe Rogan Experience 2026. Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan does a good job of, and what he did was indulge politics into a culture podcast. So that's why, and I do think that it's interesting, and why I've like on like through the stream and stuff, why I've like started watching like Stavi's clips and like things like that, where I can kind of um talk about bigger issues. Like Stavi's world brings up issues of like, brings out issues that I wouldn't normally be talking about, maybe, necessarily, like feminism, which is something that I really care deeply about, or how to be a good partner to to your person that you're with, or how to be a good dad. These type of like questions that, in the online politics or like science space, like I don't normally get into necessarily, like, but I do have views of it, and I think that it's interesting to like indulge into those things. Am I a feminist? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yes, I am a feminist for sure. I have to get his book Abundance. You talked about, yes, Sheepadoodle. Yes, I would definitely recommend reading Abundance. It's an incredible book. It's very good. Yeah, I was. What are you talking about? Absolutely, I've been a feminist for, I don't know, as long as I can remember. Yes, Matt. Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's not how feminism works, bro. That feminism isn't like any woman can just set and say as whatever they want in order to dissuade people from reality and harm people. Like if someone is creating disinformation, then absolutely, it doesn't matter what gender they are. We're talking about someone that was trying to use her 1993 PhD in genetics in order to show and improve people that water has memory and that vaccines weren't safe. So absolutely, her gender is not going to protect her from me dumpstering on her the reality of science. And that, so yes, that's definitely doesn't, that's not, that's a, that that's how it's gonna happen, man. Yeah, I never even brought up her gender, Envy. That's hilarious that you even bring that up. Yeah, she was selling memory water, she was selling all that nonsense. So that is my uh and I will continue to do that, Matt. Like, so the idea that these people exist, like there can be people that are wrong on the internet, and I cannot do anything to do that. But the idea of someone out there using her academic prowess to push pseudoscientific nonsense, I absolutely will use my background to peer review that person. That's absolutely going to happen every single time. And the idea and the problem is that she couldn't withstand the peer review process. And I'm sorry, but like, if she was any type of academic, you absolutely are okay with that kind of stuff. And you know that it's not personal, it's about the science, and she couldn't withstand the heat, So that's the sad part of it.
That piece of life that, like, the only way I got it is when they just tore off all my clothes,
Exciting.
tarred and feathered me, and put me in the center of town and said, "Look at him." And I survived. When you survive that, you kind of go, "What am I going to do with my life?" Well, the number one thing I want to do with my life is, number one, take care of me.
Yeah.
You take care of me.
I feel like I
yeah.
have to say, like, I'm really sorry that I contributed to that. Like, I just feel really shitty. Like, I feel guilty because, like, hearing you talk about, I mean, basically having the worst moments of your life. Like, I always speak about on my show how a lot of these kids growing up aren't going to even know what it was like before social media, where you could just make a mistake and like have that be over, and you got to grow up. And now it's like they're digging and they're finding people's tweets from when they're 17. They're an idiot. They wrote the N-word once, and they like want to hang them when they're 40. And I just saw you as a caricature, and it was definitely
Matthew in chat, but you are okay with Roundup, Matt? Look, let's be real, okay. The only thing that I have pleasure in rounding up is your mom every single night when I pleasure her. That's the only thing that is truly rounded up. And also I round up for charity all the money that your parents give me. I round it up to the nearest $10 and I donate it to the local charity. It's the nearest bull sanctuary. Basically, it's for bulls to live in harmony and really do whatever they can so that bulls everywhere can live a beautiful natural life eating grass on the prairie. And that's really what that's where all my money goes right now. So thank you for your comment, Matt.
like I said, like feeling gaslit by the political machine, convinced that it was just the left that partook in this political machine. And I just like really want to say, like, genuinely, like, I'm so sorry that I just didn't even consider
That
he's
you're
a
a human?
crackhead. And like,
I love it. I love this moment. She's like, I didn't think that you were a person. I didn't think that you were a real person. I didn't.
That's actually a very relatable
I love
thing, and
it.
he shouldn't be.
Thank you,
Like, to
Nico.
have that is just unbelievable to consider every worst thing you've ever done.
I am like I told you before we started, I cry very easily.
But I do. I just feel like it's not who I want to be, and I think I've come a long way from that in general. And like, but
Dude,
I did.
I can totally understand like Hunter Biden here after being pillaged like in the public square for so long as the worst of society, to actually be like given forgiveness in this moment. Do you know what I mean? So that he can feel like what he was always probably feeling in those moments of, I'm not a bad person. I'm not, this is just fake. This is just them. This is them just saying this nonsense. I deep down, I am an okay person. Their family, him, his wife, his kids, and then to actually be given some type of redemption here, I can see that, If Candace Owens invites you on her show, will you accept? Yeah, absolutely, Sheepdoodle. I'm trying to go on all the right-wing podcasts because that is what we need to do in order to break out of this algorithm bubble. Is we need to cross-contaminate. I need to infest their algorithms like the viruses that they refuse to agree exist, and I need to prove to them that I need to infest their algorithms like an actual pathogen. And I think I would not deny any podcast. And by the way, they have not gotten back to me. Let's just say that I have contacted over 100 different podcasts, and 2 have gotten back to me. So there is a huge gap in what they will allow. Their whole thing is keeping their bubble tight, and that's the problem. So it's sad.
Taken just the inhumanity of just look at this guy at the worst moment of his life, like with prostitutes, he's on crack, he's on drugs, and we should make fun of him because it makes us feel good. Or it makes us feel like we're somehow beating the machine. And that it was, I think, a really warped viewpoint. And hearing you speak about it today, I'm just like, wow, it is so gross that I particularly,
You have so much, and I mean this in a good way, so much power.
Oh no.
I think that your audience absolutely trusts you. And
Matt, I can sit in rooms with people with opposing views and still be respectful. I can too, Matt. But the problem is that when you have someone that is creating disinformation and creating that disinformation from that person, like it's not just misinformation that I'm correcting. And I will answer questions all day, and that's not a problem. I will sit here for hours. And actually, the whole meme in chat is that I am too patient with people. I am willing to have like 2-hour-long discussions with people that disagree with me, and that is totally fine with me. The problem is that you invited someone on that is a creation of disinformation themselves, and that needs to be brake checked. And someone like me has to go into a space, you're live, and correct the record and to show that this person is a charlatan and that they have no basis for their beliefs. And that's what I did. And facts don't care about your feelings, snowflake. Get with it. I'm sorry, dude, but that is just how it has to be. So the victim in this scenario isn't you or that snake oil salesperson. The victim here are the people that she swindles out of memory water kits and the herbs and nonsense that she sells. That's what's not okay. Those are the people that are the victims, not her. And you coming in here and doing this whole cry bully bit, that's just wrong. That's just wrong, and I don't care about your feelings, dude.
The reason that they trust you is because you've shown an enormous amount of courage of speaking your mind, particularly as it related to someone that you love like a brother.
Jared in YouTube chat, thanks for hanging out, man. It's way past time to push back on these grifters. For far too long, academia scoffed to these people as pointless and unfortunately harmless. Well, now we are living with the negative consequences. Exactly, Jared. 100%. 100%, dude. Like we have to, you have to push back. Matt, I don't know enough about plants, bro. I am a plant molecular biologist. Like what are you talking about? I've been working with plants for 17 years as a molecular biologist, a geneticist. Bro, you realize these plants right here, these are all plants, pictures of algae. You don't even know that algae are plants, and you're going to tell me about plants? Are you out of your mind? Gosh.
And everything that has transpired since then, which is a immediate rejection of power and an immediate rejection of and knowing that you were just going to get the shit beat out of you. And for you to say that to me, I truly mean it. Just from a purely selfish point of view, it means the world. And
no one deserves that.
I truly didn't come here for that. I came here because you know what?
Are you serious? How many plants can perform apoptosis on cancer cells? You absolute knuckle dragging Luddite. I am a peer-reviewed author on a publication where we created immunotoxins inside of algae chloroplasts that specifically target non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer cells. What are you talking about? Like, I am an expert on this specifically. Like, the idea that you are going to come in here and tell me about something where I am literally a peer-reviewed author on, and I've done peer-reviewed academic research on this, is just an absolute abdication of responsibility as a human being to think before you speak.
Ask forgiveness every day, without any expectation that I will be forgiven. But I know the people that I hurt, and and I still do, and I'm not even remotely perfect, and I still screw up, and but God, if we could have this conversation and genuinely, authentically believe that, like, I think it just opens the door for and a few other people, without being, with all humility, like maybe a few other people.
W.
And there is a freedom in it.
Huge W for Hunter. Like, seriously, even maybe Candace isn't changed and she's a grifter and she goes back to thinking whatever it is, afterwards. But man, like, maybe he actually goes onto this show and changes someone's mind to think that, like, maybe my algorithm is feeding me BS that I need to question in the future. Like, maybe this is like the start for someone somewhere. That'd be so good. That's so good, man. And this is exactly why we need to cross-pollinate, incubate, incubate. We need to do recombinant algorithm exchanges.
Too. Like, there's a freedom that your worst moments have just like,
Yeah,
there's nothing else.
What are you gonna say?
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
like, you got me butt naked up with the crack pipe. So
Yeah,
I mean, I
exactly.
survived it, and so
Yeah.
you have it, and
Yeah,
it allows you to kind of return to who you are, because it's addiction is.
yeah,
I wouldn't wish it. I always say, like, people growing up and seeing what it's done to families, and seeing a lot of stuff when I was younger, like, really made me, like, again, I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, I can't even imagine.
Imagine if you could talk about it. Imagine if you could have openly talked about it, and the person that you were confronting or doing it is like, were able to say, like this is, like, we got to do something about this. Come on, everybody, let's do something about it. I want to start an aftercare program for people for free, because the biggest thing that happens
Beautiful.
is people go to detox and they go to recovery center or rehab, and they get out after 30 days and they got nowhere to go. And so one of the things that I'm trying to do is start a free aftercare program. And there's a couple. There's one in Kentucky that is a really beautiful model. But if I could do that, I work with an organization called Boston Universal. I'm the development director there, and they do tenants' rights and homeless prevention. Like, I know what we all can agree on. We can all agree on that, that people can't afford to pay the rent and need to be able to figure out a way to stay in their houses before it becomes a mother with 3 kids that are homeless.
True.
We know where that leads. But
True.
these kinds of things is what I want to use, what I'm doing. I want to do that. I also want to make a living. I also want to want to be able to pay my debt. I also want to be able to do the things that I have, I also still want to make art, I started finally, and like, you know what, I'm going to put all my art on my website, and people can come look at it. If they want to buy it, they can buy it.
Oh my God,
and
guys. Should we buy Hunter Biden?
I don't really believe art becomes art until you share it with somebody. I mean, like, until there's an observer of it. So I can, I can sit in my studio, which is my garage. But I want to do all of those things, and I want to be able to do it, and I want to be able to talk to you. You know what I mean? I want to be able to talk to the people. I want to talk to, like, that family, necessary conversation, and say to the mom, like, the stories your daughter tells you about the way that you adopted animals, it really moves me. The fact that you think I'm the spawn of the devil I, can I, we maybe have a discussion about it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, it's a caricature.
Yeah.
And I have a caricature of me that's been built up for years. So I should have been more empathetic to it, honestly. But it's when you're in it, you kind of don't really know that you're in it, I think.
Well, not only in it, is that you're in it to win it.
Yeah.
And when everything is put in a political lens and life or death and, you know,
Dang, guys, I'm not even joking. I wanted to get some, I wanted to get some Hunter Biden art for the back of my thing. Dude, here's some cool ones. I love this. This is so cool. Look at his art, guys. This is Hunter Biden's art. HunterBiden.com. His art is really cool. Look at this one, dude. This is the one I wanted to get. Odinata, a little Odinata thing. I love it. Look at how sick that looks. But yeah, it sells for around $54,000 a piece. Like, no way, dude. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. That's gonna that's a little outside of the price. The more I listen to Hunter Biden's interviews, the more I like him. Yes, exactly. Super Mega Champ 7. Thank you for hanging out, dude. The Channel 5 interview was incredible, bro. I that was one of the reasons why I watched this. And he's so yeah, it's really cool. It's a really interesting person.
if we lose this election, this is over. And these, now I will tell you this is that we've never had somebody that is, opposed staying longer than they're supposed to. But regardless, is that I think that we all have a tendency to look at the time that we live in and say that it's worse than ever, absolutely worse. And the fact of the matter is if you, if you know your history, is that like this is a cycle. There will always be really bad people. We will always be disappointed in the end with leadership. We will always have corruption. It doesn't mean that we need to accept it. It doesn't mean that we don't need to fight against it. It doesn't mean that sometimes really good people make the wrong choice. But what it does mean is that I have absolute hope. I really, truly still believe in America, even with all of all of its faults. I mean, even after reading The Devil's Chessboard, you read that and you go like,
what is
and
this?
that's not about Democrats and that's not about Republicans. And if you go back and you go back to Reconstruction, you go back to Andrew Johnson, and you go back to like the fact that the United States of America has not been truly the United States of America until 1964 at best.
True.
And this whole thing, but I still really believe in the illusion. And the thing that makes me so mad is they have completely torn away that illusion, and people feel hopeless. They feel like there's no chance of changing it. Okay.
It's crazy to me the way that they've attacked the Civil Rights Act, which is what he's talking about. It's also crazy to me with how we haven't been able to pass a Women's Rights Act. That's just like that blows my mind. That blows my mind. Mike Ace says, yeah, let me finish this video and then we can talk, dude.
They gave this guy the reins to do it, and he was the one who was going to blow everything up and make it better for everybody. And they're kind of like, wait a second. What happened to Charlie? Wait a second. Why are we at war again?
Yeah. I think this is actually the most important question, and I will make this my final question I want to ask you, but I'm really interested about your faith life. You're Catholic, you're raised Catholic, you went to Catholic school, and you're talking to me about the Gnostic Gospels.
Okay, let's you and I go see the Pope together.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously.
I think he's a little mad at America right now.
No, but you and I
I was tweeted the same day
Let's
as
go hang out with the
by
Pope.
the way, by Trump when
Let's go hang out with the Pope. That was literally, can you imagine just name dropping the Pope? Let's go hang out with the Pope. Let's go. I'm going to introduce you to someone, P. Ope. His name is P. Ope. He knows someone that knows someone,
said bad things about me.
For
so
real, let's go to the Vatican.
I would love to.
What the hell?
would
You
love
just
to.
show up at the
Coolest place in the
Vatican
world.
and get
I love
in?
I just got back from Italy.
Yeah.
I was there 2
were
weeks
you?
ago. Yeah,
Okay.
I did my confirmation.
Well, oh, you did?
I did. It was just the most beautiful,
Oh, that's so cool.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was literally the same day that Trump posted the Time most vile person of the year. So
Yeah.
I felt like there was, even in that, there was something divine, because it was like looking at fake power and then the real power of like having, you know, a cardinal getting confirmed, being in Italy, the deep history, like what outlasts that. Like there was something so fickle about it, like posting this photo of me when I was sick. Okay, great.
Wait, hold on.
Talk about humiliating people for
What is
sport.
going on?
Somebody literally
that's a-
sent this to me right
Oh,
before
humiliating people for sport. That's what I do to Matt all the time. There you go.
to you. They knew that I was going to talk to you. And I promise you I did not plan to do
No,
this.
you're so fine.
It was a prayer. If you are wise and
Oh my
understand God's
gosh.
ways, prove it by living an honorable life. Do good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you are bitterly jealous and there is selfish ambition in your heart, don't cover up the truth with boasting and lying. For jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. For wherever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind. The
Wow.
whole first piece of that, when you were just talking, is what's my faith? If you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life. And the thing that I recognized is that quote from Mother Teresa. I don't go to Mass as much as I used to. Grew up going to Mass every Sunday. I never would miss a Mass. You know, I went to Georgetown. I was Catholic. But what I realized is that my real faith is in that belief, is that just do the next right thing. That's it. Whether it's the golden rule. And that doesn't mean you have to be weak in your empathy, but always be compassionate. I believe in the perennial philosophy. I believe that same exact message from the Upanishads to the Gospels of Jesus Christ are all at base in terms of the red letter words of each of them are saying the same thing.
And?
Love your neighbor like you would want to be loved. And it's the hardest thing in the world to do.
That's not the golden rule, guys. That I think that it's so wild to me how wrong people get the golden rule. It's the golden rule is treat people how you would want to be treated. But that's wrong. You got to treat people how they want to be treated. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. So it's really important. You know, like so if you're toxic to someone and you're like, "Oh, well that's how I would want to be treated." Well, that's wrong because they don't want to be treated like that, right? So that's what's really important.
So hard. But that's my faith. And I think that there are certain people that arrive at certain times that are messengers of that. And like for instance, I certainly don't agree with the Catholic Church on a lot of stuff. I certainly have a, but I tell you what, I really am so proud of Pope Francis and now Pope Leo in terms of just the notion of social justice. And I think that there can be a practical application of that in terms of our leadership. I really do. I think that that faith that is used as a cudgel is really, really dangerous.
Yes,
I think
it's true.
I know a lot of people that I personally love and very close to that are part of an evangelical church, particularly in the African American community, but that are horrified by the complicity of a certain section of the evangelical church and what's happening in the world today. So, to me, my faith is very personal, rooted in it's rooted in Catholicism, and it's rooted in the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit church in particular, which they used to always call the Black Pope until we finally got a Jesuit Pope. But, and with the eyes wide open too, is that the church is as an institution is incredibly flawed and had been. But
Well, yeah, dude. The Catholic Church.
But it
jeez, come on,
given
man.
me an enormous sense of community and belonging, just from a cultural perspective.
Well, what I'm gonna say is I really think you should go to confession.
Yeah.
You should do that.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. I've been to confession.
Yeah, you should go to confession.
Did she just learn about that? She's like, you got to check out this new thing.
Just
100%. Yeah, don't worry.
Go back to the root. Go back to the root, and
she's like,
here's the other thing. So much there, and it's like you're not, you're just not enough. Your brain's not enough. I mean, hearing you describe that, I can do this. That there's just something about, for me, like the submission that every mass, and just remembering, like,
cringe.
The beautiful thing.
Yeah.
The beautiful
submission
is this.
The submission at every mass. Ugh, cringe, dude.
The beautiful thing is that I have been going to confession for 6 years.
Wow.
Right here. That's me. I like that freedom. What used feel like the only person that you could say this to, and I'm not saying that there is not like my impure thoughts that I'm, that's between me and God. But I am saying is that feeling of release that the confessional is there for.
Dude, I would not be talking as a Catholic about any confessional booths and releases, okay? That would be strictly out of my vocabulary. I would those string of words together would never, that needs to be completely removed, bro. That is not okay.
Is the feeling that when I was finally able to see beyond all of the noise that I received by just existing and getting up every day and looking, turning over and seeing that my wife, who saved me, and Bowie, and my dad, as a dad, not as president, but just as a dad, and my mom and my sister and my aunts and uncles and everybody else, and then the wider circle, my friend George, my friend Franny, my friend Bobby. I like people that came into my life and never left, and despite it all, when there was nothing in it for them but just grief and ridicule. Pretty cool.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hunter Biden. Never thought this conversation would happen, and it just, stranger things have happened, and this has truly been one of the most powerful discussions that we've ever had. And I think it's because of your journey. You've lived through a lot. You lost your mother, your sister in a tragic accident. You lost your brother to cancer. Maybe for a while lost your dad to politics, the political machine. Lost yourself to crack cocaine. And somehow...
I gained everything.
Yeah. Did Candace lose herself to MAGA? Is that what she's saying?
Gained it all back.
Yeah, I really did. I can't tell you how much it means to me that that you would invite me here into your home to be able to have this discussion. And I really, really mean it. I'm really, really honored.
And I'm grateful that you took it and that you've accepted my apology, because I just feel really shitty about it. But
thanks.
Guilt is good, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Amazing.
Dang. Wild, man. Wild. Okay. All right. So is that guy still here? Let's see. Oh, he is. Cool. Perfect. I haven't done any research on chelates, Matt, but I appreciate your mom doing all the work that she did on Kegels. So that was really awesome. I really make sure I'll let her know for you. I mean, I'll see her before you do probably, but unless you're going there tonight, are you going to be there tonight? Bring Could you bring? Okay, she wanted the casserole. She was looking for that French onion, kind of like that crispy part on the top. If you could, bring that, that'd be nice. I'm going in a little early, so if you could come in later, that'd be great. I'm sending an invite to that random dude. So I'm asking. I'm asking that dude. Oh, it's the crybaling again. This is the maturity that I'm talking about. Matt, I don't owe you anything. You're just a random person in chat, dude. Like it's so funny to me, like how MAGA thinks that they deserve so much of everyone else, and yet they aren't willing to give any respect to anyone. It's just the self-centered narcissism of MAGA that they just feel like every single space that they come into, that we are all graced with their presence, and I have to like stop a video mid thing so I can talk to him, and I can talk. I don't care if you're from Canada. I don't care if you're from Zimbabwe. You're the embodiment of the insanity of MAGA, and that's just what it is. So that's just what it is. I say messed up stuff, bro. You are actively harming people with your nonsense. So that's just what it is. I see, guys, and this is what it is. We talked about this earlier. I'm not dumb enough to pick left or right. Exactly, guys. This is the MAGA mindset. They're either gonna say all politicians are corrupt, or like it's just the same nonsense. The left and the right are both corrupt. I wouldn't be able to say anything about that, And then now you have people like him. Like it's just so boring. Exactly, NB. Exactly. He promotes alternative healthcare that isn't healthcare and harms people. Like Matt, if you think about it, like, dude, your god is Steve Jobs. Okay, Steve Jobs was a naturopath that had billions of dollars and had a form of cancer that was preventable and treatable not preventable but treatable at the point that it was found. And instead, just like you, he spent millions of dollars on alternative therapies and created and died early because of that. He spent money on acupuncture as opposed to oncology, and it hurt him to the point where he lost his life. So yeah, again, it's that's the frustration with MAGA and people like you, is that you refuse to actually be solidified in your beliefs. You will sit there and cry and make thousands of messages in chat, and yet, like, when the time comes for it, you run to actual medicine in order to make you feel better, just long enough so that you can go on to TikTok afterwards and say, oh, I went to the hospital and they cured me and they did all this stuff, but yeah, maybe I'm toxic now, so now I need a colon cleanse in order to do it. So, and this guy refuses to. These guys always run. Like, all these people that chat, that yap in chat, like, this guy was talking about, like, for 10 minutes how I don't know anything, that he knows everything about virology and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like asking him, I'm inviting you, Mikey Aces. I'm gonna crack your pocket aces, bro. I'm asking you. Medicine. Oh my god, dude. Medicine, dude. Oh my god, dude. You spelled medicine with an A. Oh my god. Oh my god. Matt, I'm not going to give you a platform. I don't care about your opinions. I don't care about your opinions. Oh, it's autocorrect. Oh my god, dude. I love that cope. I love that. Mikey Aces. Calling Mikey Aces. Hello. Come on in, dude. Come on in, dude. Come on in. Mikey Aces calling Mikey Aces. Hello. Hello, Mikey Aces. To the front, please. Mikey Aces. Hello. Please come to the front. Please come to your cell phone. Mikey Aces. Hello. I know, Various. It's like, yeah, dude. It's almost like as if, I don't know, guys, being an actual scientist with actual credentials, you're punished on these apps as opposed to promoting pseudoscientific nonsense that just it's easy to digest and conspiracy is easy to sell. Whoa, dude. Oh my God. No way. Oh, you're wait, so you're telling me that conspiracy is easier to sell on algorithms than actual science? Oh my gosh. Amazing. Oh my gosh. I am, NB. I'm really hungry. I did jujitsu this morning and I didn't eat lunch. I'm trying to cut weight, but it's very hard. It's very hard. So I'm very tired. So I wanted to go eat, but I was willing to talk to Mikey Spades and Mikey Spuds. Eat cucumbers, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the love and support on YouTube. It's been incredible. It took me like a year to get 700 subscribers, and then in the last 3 weeks, we've gotten 740 subscribers just in that time. We are going exponential on YouTube right now, and I love and appreciate all the support on YouTube. It's really helping me monetize, get out there, and I love and support my TikTok community, and I love all the support. So thank you so much. The power is compounding. It is, dude. It really is. Like once it goes through the logarithm, once it goes through the algorithm, now it's being pushed even more, and it's incredible. What's crazy is that it's, a lot of it is because of my Ken Hovind debate, which is funny because it took me 6 months for it to get pushed on the algorithm from that debate. So it was it's odd that it took that long, but hey, it is what it is. That Ken Hovind debate did a lot of wonders. Good job actually going after that. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Meteor. Yeah, for sure. People that are the agents of disinformation that create the disinformation themselves, that is someone that I will be absolutely relentless going after, and I won't hold back at all. So this Matthew guy, this guy is a victim of misinformation, right? In chat, he is someone that thinks that he is doing really important work by pushing back on me, but in the end, he is being exploited, right, by someone that created the disinformation, and he's unfortunately bought into it. So in reality, I kind of feel bad for him, to be honest with you. But someone like Kent Hovind or the person that was a guest on his show that I came on to, they are creating disinformation that is actively harming people. So those people I am absolutely relentless with, and that is my approach, and I appreciate the comments and stuff. So thank you guys. Appreciate all the support. I am going to head out. Oh, thank you. What's up? Vanry Schwishk. Thank you. I will I'm going to be going to eat, and I will be back later tonight. So thank you, Jared. It is Meteor. I totally agree. I appreciate you. Yeah, this is definitely a safe zone. It's definitely a safe zone, Matt. Okay, I gotta go eat. Thank you again. I appreciate you all.